Well, good evening, friends, and welcome to another episode of Storm King's Thunder. This is episode 31 right here at Proficiency Bonus. We're so glad that you're joining us on this wonderful Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure tonight. A couple announcements that I want to make really quick. Just want to give out a couple shout-outs to Team MZ for all their small streamer support. If you want to check them out, make sure you go onto Twitter and give them a holler out there on Twitter. Also want to throw out a quick shout out to Nightshade Creations for all their cool products that they make. We have a special announcement coming up here during the break today that will feature something from Nightshade Creations, so stick around to hear some of the things about that. Also wanted to say a big thank you to Many-Sided Dice for partnering with us and the support. They have an awesome 5e magic compendium out called The Lost Artifacts of Greygas, which we feature some of their magic items in not only this campaign, but Matthew's campaign that he runs here at Proficiency Bonus on Monday nights when he streams Tomb of Annihilation. So stick around. We're going to have a really big special announcement during the break today. So you guys are going to want to stick around for this. It's going to be super, super cool. And, I wanted to announce it right away just because I'm so giddy and excited about it. But it's going to be really, really cool. Also wanted to throw out there, I want to throw out a huge, huge thank you and shout out to Christy Mysticwater for her amazing artwork for Mulfin. If you haven't seen it on being shared on Twitter yet, go check it out. It's amazing. She was super, super anxious about it because she's not used to drawing male characters and figures. She's more of like she likes to draw the female characters or the, probably more female-looking heroic men, elves and things like that. I think that she's more comfortable with. But man, did she nail Mulfin. I think, man, it is just right on the level. So you got to check that out. It's on our Twitter, but also during the commercial stream during our break, I've got that artwork featured in our stream, so you'll be able to check out all her awesome artwork. I think she's working on a couple more that we've got. I think we've got Ashlyn to do next, probably. And
Ashlyn's next.
And then there's another one on the docket that we're still trying to talk about. So you might see another one coming up in the future, another character portrait. And I might commission you to do a DM portrait as well.
Oh.
Because I'm getting kind of jealous. Everybody else has these really, really cool, awesome character portraits, and then there's me. I don't have a character, so I need one. I don't know. Maybe you can make me look like Gum Gum or Sarvin or something like that. I don't know.
Oh God, you're gonna make me a dragonborn? Are you really going to press me even further?
Half goblin, half dragonborn.
There you go. Some of our staple NPCs from the campaign so far.
And watch Christy have an emotional breakdown.
I'm gonna bring you guys over so you can see our awesome cast. Everybody say hello to our audience tonight as we get ready to play and dive in to some Storm King's Thunder tonight. If you guys haven't,
DOS Player 2.
Yeah, DOS Player 2,
Hello.
welcome back. And also big shout out to DOS Player for subscribing again to the channel. Thanks a lot. We do appreciate the support. And just we have a fantastic community here at Proficiency Bonus. We got a ton of viewers that are always kind of coming out, hanging out with us on Mondays and Friday nights. So we get excited about that. So make sure you chime in the chat because we love to look at the chat. We engage with the chat often. And sometimes our chat gets to impact the way things turn out with our players, even make some rules sometimes. So you know how we like to get the viewers involved, much to Zos/Diana's chagrin, I guess.
And I'm like, fear. What are they going to do to me tonight?
What are they going to do to you tonight? That's right. So thank you guys so much.
This episode's sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, last week it was McDonald's. Now we've got Chick-fil-A.
The week before, Chick-fil-A.
I've got my trusty Coca-Cola ready to go as well. So we're
And
good. Watch as YouTube will not allow us to upload this now. That's awesome.
I'm gay, but it's sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
That's it.
Brought to you by all things Canadian.
Nice.
I
Excellent.
got a sloth mug.
Yes, that is awesome.
No kidding.
A sloth mug, nice. All right,
We've been demonetized by Dust Player.
there you go. Excellent. Well, just to kind of dive back into last week's episode, our party was trying to come up with a solution as they found out, or were in the middle of a frost giant raid as they were training on the backs of these griffins at Dashara's residence. When this frost giant raid started to happen in Fireshear. The group come up with a plan that included igniting the frost giant's longship into a spout of grease fire that quickly erupted all over the deck and took the lives of several of the frost giants. Unfortunately, the rest of the frost giants were now left without a way to leave the area and were very angry about the things that have happened. Mulfin made way with a lot of treasure as he was digging through. Callista got him out of there just in time before most of the upper part of the deck was completely toasted and burned in the flames. Upon getting back to Dashara was ready to vacate the premises. She was ready to leave. She was ready to pack up her things and get on with her life, knowing that the frost giants may be on their way to her hovel to basically just demolish the place. Our party decided that they would go away for a little bit and regroup and hope to come up with a plan to make an attack against the frost giants. During their night stay, whenever they woke up the next morning, they discovered that there was a white dragon skull kind of watching them from a distance in another group of trees. And as Ashlyn approached, she found out that there was a frost giant underneath that skull, wearing it as a helm, who ended up to be a legendary, good-aligned frost giant named Harshnag, who was brought to the area due to the frost giant horn blasts and the giant pillar of dark black smoke that was rising from the longship. At the end of our episode last time, the group was trying to be sneaky, to look towards two frost giants that were slamming into some houses in Fireshear. But Harshnag almost couldn't resist himself as he went into berserker-type rage and started to run out of the light foliage towards the frost giants, bringing us to this point now. So the adventure begins tonight, so the story is told. As you guys hear this billowing of this frost giant, Ashlyn, you are currently on Harshnag's shoulder, and you feel him start to abruptly start to run towards these frost giants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take everybody to a new map, and I'm going to change the music. And what you guys can do is once we get to that new map, I'm going to put a turn order up, and you guys can go ahead and roll initiative once you get to that new map. I'm hoping I got everything set up correctly so that when you guys get there, it should be loading up. You guys are going to be in the top right-hand corner of the map. And I think I have everything set up to where you guys can see.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and change our tunes for... Get some new music on here.
This is fine. This is fine.
This is fine?
I'm just gonna fly away.
Hold on.
Oh shoot.
Did you guys get a chance to click on your tokens and roll?
I can't click on my token for some reason.
You can't click on your token?
Oh wait, now I can.
There you
That
go.
was weird.
No.
I know I've got you kind of like overlapping Harshnag a little bit because
Yeah.
I was trying to make it look like you were on his shoulder there.
Gotcha.
Excellent. So do we have everybody now? I think we do. Now, Mulfin, as you were you casting? Were you trying to bring your familiar back on the way here?
Yeah, as we had started to leave,
Mm-hmm.
basically before we even had like mounted up, when Harshnag shot Molfin down, and Ashlyn had managed to convince him that she should ride on his shoulders. Molfin was at that point livid and was on the back of the horse with one of these Centaurum guys casting the spell at that point.
Okay. So right before you heard the billowing, you should have a. Yeah, it's on the token. Do you see the token next to
Yep.
where you're standing? Okay.
Yeah, I've
So-
got it rolled initiative for it too.
Okay, excellent. So, yeah, you now have a small cat-like creature. That I guess when you do this, is it kind of just like, I guess it just kind of coalesce next to you, like just kind of appear.
Basically, yeah. For those who have seen Harry Potter, the way I sort of picture it is the exact opposite of an apparition. So instead of like when Dumbledore and Harry sort of wrap into a ball and vanish,
Yeah.
it's the same sort of look, just how it sort of this tiny little pinpoint of light just sort of swirls out, and this cat sort of forms out of it. And
Excellent. Yeah.
Evaporating in.
Yeah.
Evaporating out.
Yeah. Kind of it takes form, and it's a really cool looking cat. It has it's an odd tail. It has like a little short tail on the back of it, but it's got the whiskers kind of flare out in the front of it, and kind of almost like kind of gets that almost bobcat kind of look to it as it's kind of moving around. So you got this probably a little bit bigger than your typical house cat, but still looks like did you come up with a name for this familiar?
not yet, I forgot
Not yet?
to.
It's okay.
Junior.
So you've got that as well. So as Harshnag is starting to run out of this light foliage with Ashlyn in tow, it seems as if one of the frost giants looks over. It's a tall, kind of lanky looking frost giant with an enormous forehead, a small kind of like looks like a metal kind of skull cap helm on the top of his head. And he looks over immediately at Harshnag with almost like a look of actually shock and surprise at first, as he just comes screaming out of the woods. Almost a look of panic in his face as he begins to move up towards, almost like he's going towards where this other frost giant has just leveled this small like igloo-shaped stone hut, and runs over and grabs one of the stones from the stone hut and whips it towards Harshnag. So he's going to go ahead and make a throw to see if he hits Harshnag here with this. So we got a frost giant rock coming right at him. Let's see how he does. And Ashlyn, as you're holding on, you see this giant like run over there with almost kind of like a panic in his eyes. He reaches down, grabs this rock, and just chucks it like a baseball at Harshnag. Harshnag kind of pulls his other arm up like this, and the rock just shatters off of this plate that's kind of like these wristbands that he has on, and it just breaks, and you just hear Harshnag go, and he just keeps running. So then you can see that this frost giant, only moving a little bit of his movement so far. You only move about 20 feet. He kind of looks, and he kind of stumbles over top of these rocks and just kind of moves, almost hunkering down a little bit behind the larger frost giant. And that moves us on to Kentucky. And I didn't roll for everybody's all the Zenturum's initiatives, but I was going to just have them move on to Kentucky's turn. They're all riding horses. How fast can riding horses go?
I
Anybody?
think it's
I
60.
think it's on our handout, right?
Yeah, you guys might be able to get to it quicker than I
60
can.
feet.
60
Yeah.
feet? Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys are all going to move 60 feet with their
No!
horses. 10,
I want one
20,
of those.
30, 40, 50. He's going to move this way a little bit and go about 60 here as he's kind of charging in with his heavy crossbows. It looks like, Molfin, you're going to be taken for a little ride right here as well, as he's going to be kind of right behind him in tow. And we've got this young lady over here moves up past as they're running as fast as they can, kind of getting the jump on Harshnag a little bit as they start going a little bit quicker towards the Frost Giants as they're kind of just heading on in.
No, turn around.
And this and this riding horse seems to be just kind of like following in tow a little bit behind, not really sure what to do. It kind of this other Zentrum has like kind of a rope attached to this other riding horse, so just kind of like pulling it along. Kentucky's going to actually take a shot at the front Frost Giant along with this individual who Molfin is riding with. He doesn't know his name.
That's rude, Molfin. Just rude.
That's rude, Molfin, riding on the back of a horse of somebody you don't know a name.
Yeah.
There you go. So we've got a bunch of these heavy crossbows are going to be fired off. Here comes the first, and we at least know that the other one is going to take an attack. So we've got that one, and as Kentucky's long the crossbow bolt from his heavy crossbow fires off, hits, you can see it hits the Frost Giant in the arm. You can see it causes a little bit of pain, but it doesn't seem to affect her too much, as she is hit for 8 piercing damage from that crossbow hit. And these two down at the bottom are also going to go ahead and take shots at the front Frost Giant as well. So here comes a heavy crossbow and another heavy crossbow as they go firing off. And both of those just kind of the first one kind of deflects off of some of the armor that she's wearing. Although it's kind of tight and barely covering a lot of her features, it kind of catches her in the wrong area and just kind of deflects off. The other one doesn't even come close. It just kind of just whiffs right by without even making contact. It seems like these fellows aren't very used to riding on the back of a horse and firing these weapons at the same time, obviously, as they roll terribly.
So, is it sexy armor? Like she's scantily clad and in tight clothing? Or is it like...
You, by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, purely by accident. And that
Okay.
she's a very masculine-looking Frost Giant.
Oh.
So she has very masculine kind of features as well. Has this little like ponytail on the top of her head. It's kind of like almost at the very top. Sarvin, and I'm gonna have Jolin. Sarvin starts to head towards the fray here. So 10, 20, 30, 40. And he gets up to about right here. He kind of looks at Jolin, looks over at Molfin. It's like, I did it before. I can do it again. I'm gonna aim for the eye. And he gets ready and he pulls back his longbow and he's gonna go ahead and try to take 2 shots as he is riding on the back of the horse as well. So here comes his 2 longbow attacks as he fires them on his way. And the first one connects, but the second one seems to fly wide as he is able to pierce the giant. Unfortunately, it only hits her in the shoulder and just kind of almost grazes her just to cause a little bit of damage, a little bit of pain to the frost giant. Man, you guys must have rolled terrible on your initiatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
is fine.
this is fine. The front frost giant. Let me check something really quick. Let's see. Looks like it's only one small, medium, or large creature. Okay. All right. Seeing the commotion starting to happen, she looks like she's kind of while the other frost giant was looking kind of worried. This one seems to have a lot of rage. It's almost kind of scanning the area, looking at what's coming at her, but almost at that point looking past the row of horses coming in front and looking right at Harshnag. As Harshnag is coming towards them. She is going to draw back, and she is going to pick up a rock, and she is going to whip it at Kentucky, who is leading the way. She's going to go ahead and throw this right towards him. Here comes the rock at Kentucky.
Oh!
No!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Banjo players in trouble.
Oh
Stop!
no!
This is not fine!
Oh!
That's not good.
Oh,
That was, what, 39? 38? 38, yes, 38
Yep.
points of bludgeoning damage as this rock slams into Kentucky.
Oh no.
As this rock just slams into him, you see his head kind of jolt back and slam off the backside of the horse. His crossbow goes flying into the air. It looks like the rock broke it into 3 or 4 pieces. And then he immediately kind of almost bounces back up, and you can see that he is still conscious. He is still alive, but he's bleeding from his face pretty bad. It looks like that the blood is starting to run down his face, but he is still gripping the reins and holding on to this horse.
No.
He
I'm
is...
laughing at Twitch chat.
Insert sad banjo music here. Yes, Kepler. Yes, Kepler, I have now award you DM's inspiration for the evening,
Yes.
Kepler. You deserve it. So Kepler, here's what I'm going to do. Anytime you see fit, because last week I forgot to award DM's inspiration, I believe, across the board. Did I forget to do that last week? So did I forget to do that? Because I think I did.
Let me double check.
I'm gonna say that you didn't because I want that inspiration.
So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Kepler a piece of she can share her inspiration with one of the members of the group tonight. So Kepler, as you're watching, if you see something happen, role play wise or combat wise, you can just chime in and let me know who you want to give the inspiration to, and we'll throw it their way. So yeah, Kentucky is still alive, but he looks like he took a significant beating with that hit, and you can see that the frost giant kind of looks like she's just preparing and getting ready to hold her ground for what's about to come. Lachlan, it's your turn, and you guys are all you guys have been very stealthy. Lachlan, you're kind of hanging off the side of the griffin. It's just kind of like, you remember from last week, you rolled an amazing stealth check, and you're just like hanging off the side, kind of under the griffin's wing as you're flying. I think I gave you control of the griffin as well. So basically what I'm going to let you guys do is the griffin is going to just go on your turn. Even if you guys get separated.
Interesting. Then I'm going to try to continue to stealth here as let me double check. I can go about feet. All right. I'm going to start to kind of fly along and flank these guys a little bit.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm not jumping out and attacking just yet.
Okay. Anything else you'd be doing right now? Is that your movement and your turn or your action?
Well, I guess if I could move a little more if I dash.
Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. So you just
Cool.
kind of stealthily kind of swooping around through
Yeah.
the early morning mist as you head on towards around Fireshear. You can notice too as you're looking down, Lachlan, these the roofs below that you see, they look like thatched roofs because that's all I could find token wise. But these are stone kind of igloo shapes below you. These are what seemingly be just huts and places where people would live here in Fireshear. And you can see that the giants have smashed a couple of them, and they're just piles of stony rubble right now. All right. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'm good.
All right. So we're gonna go with the lynx.
Somebody muted?
Are you muted,
I
Matthew?
think so.
And Zoss, if you could try to reconnect for your camera as well. You were going you kind of blacked out on us.
Yeah, we'll send the Lynx is actually going to
There you go.
use its full movement to come up towards Kentucky's horse, and that's as far as it can get. But Molfin's giving it instructions to go to Kentucky.
Okay. So the cat just starts heading its way, quickly heading towards where you last seen Kentucky get blasted by this huge rock. That brings us to Harshnag. And Harshnag's going to continue to run up towards these guys. His speed is 40 feet, and he's going to take Ashlyn with him. 10, 20, 30. And he gets up to right in front of where these guys are. And he is really, really angry coming at these guys. You could just hear him like billowing Ashlyn as he's running. He's not going to stop. He's going to continue to run and use his action to dash. And he's going to get right up into this first frost giant's face. Toe to toe. And he just looks at her and he's it's time. And then that's basically all he's saying. He's got his great axe ready, and Ashlyn, you're just kind of just holding on for dear life as all this is taking place. And that brings us to you, Ashlyn, as you're standing on his shoulder.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, you taunt her. Oh crap! Now it's my turn. Okay. I'm just gonna do 2 quarterstaffs and a martial arts. So let me roll for those.
Okay.
That hit.
Yeah, the first one, as you come across, you definitely connect to the frost giant. Then you come back and you kind of like just do a thrust of the quarterstaff into like the nose of this frost giant. It's just bonk, his nails are right in the nose. Go ahead and roll damage for both of those as both of these connect. Nice. So 21 points of bludgeoning damage is like, thwack, thwack. As Harshnag just kind of starts laughing as he sees this happen.
And then I'm gonna do my martial arts for my bonus action, so I'm gonna actually kick her in the nose.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna yes. And with the with the sound of the foot of Ashlyn smacking into this frost giant's nose echoes off of the the stone buildings around, dealing another 9 points of bludgeoning damage to the frost giant.
Yeah.
The giant immediately like picks her hand up to grab her nose and just kind of shakes her head and looks right at the shoulder of Harshnag to see this secret weapon of his like standing on his shoulder, just reaching out and thwacking her with all these attacks. Anything else you'd like to do, Ashlyn? You can move or take a bonus action. Oh, you used your bonus action for martial arts, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna do my free action and go, ha ha ha, what he said.
Nice. He's like, oh, it must have been fate that we have met.
Yes.
And that takes us to Callista, who is also being extremely stealthy up here to the north. It seems that the frost giants are focused on what is happening in front of them and have not really noticed you guys kind of sneaking through the misty morning of this town.
I am going to conjure a giant elk.
A giant elk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you have control of an elk? Is it in your character sheet? Okay.
No.
Let me see if I have a
I
giant
could pull out
elk.
the saber-toothed tiger and just pretend it's an elk.
Let me see if I have a giant elk in here. I know I have a regular elk. Let's see. Oh, I'd have a giant elk. I will give you control of it. Here we go. Where you gonna conjure it?
I will show you a boat.
Oh my goodness, that's
Here.
massive. About here?
Yep.
Okay, I am going to. That thing is huge.
Wow.
It is.
Ah!
It is the size of a giant. My gosh,
Jesus.
that is enormous. So I'm gonna give you access to this, so you can control it.
Okay.
So let me save changes. You should be able to control the giant elk now.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
He's going to charge
Awesome.
straight at this guy and ram him.
This guy, he already looked like he was kind of panicking a little bit. All of a sudden now sees an elk that is almost as big as he is, just charging right at him, head down, these massive antlers pointed in the direction. You can go ahead and you should be able to... Can you access the character sheet too? To be able to use his attacks?
I don't see one.
Huh.
I could just roll.
Yeah, do you have the stats?
Yeah, I have.
thing?
Oh yeah, I have the stats.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. You can make your rolls. Yes, that will hit. Go ahead. You can roll your damage as these, as he just notices this elk just coming out from the between these two piles of rubble, jumping over some of the stones and piercing.
He needs to make a DC strength saving throw or
Okay.
be knocked prone. And it's
Nice.
now I get extra because he charged, so it's 4d6 plus 4.
Nice. Did you say strength save?
Yep.
Okay. Here comes a strength
Nice.
saving throw.
Ooh, you fail.
I fail! Oh my goodness.
Which means I get an extra attack.
Nice.
Now I get to do the hooves.
The-
If he fails, I get to do the
So
hooves.
you guys watch as the giant elk, when the giant elk drives the antlers into the flesh of this frost giant, you see him start to panic a little bit. His helm falls off the back of his head as he stumbles backwards over this building that's was crumbled to the ground, slips on the stones and falls back. And now the giant elk is in the air with the front hooves up, down, ready to slam down onto the frost giant. Oh my goodness.
So, is that an attack roll? I think it's an attack roll first. to
Yeah,
see if he hits
yeah,
it.
I think you have to attack with the hooves.
Yeah. 1d20.
Sorry, guys.
It's
That's
all
why my
good.
camera's moving up and down. My dog's
Does a
everywhere.
23
Hold
hit?
on.
It's all right. Yes, the hooves definitely slam down onto the chest of this frost giant as he is still lying there, almost shocked that this has happened.
So in total, 44 points of damage.
It's at 24 points of damage?
And the first one was a 20 points of damage, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can only use it the first round. He's got to charge for, like, the straightaway, otherwise it doesn't work.
So you guys watch as this elk is just slamming its hooves down on top of the frost giant. You can hear just the impacts of this this massive elk. My goodness, you can just hear this frost giant like it's trying to put its hands up to avoid some of the damage that's coming down on him. Nice round. You're still not done though, right?
I'm not. But
Was
I'm
that
gonna-
that was your action though, right? Is that kind of
that
your
was
action?
my action.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move. Over here. Like
Okay.
over top of the tree.
Okay, you'll probably have to grab your token as well and pull it
Yeah.
over there. There you go. All right. You're flying that way?
Yep.
Anything else you'd like to do?
That's it for now.
All right. That brings us to Molfin.
Okay, well, Molfin's gonna reach into his inner pocket, pull out that red bubbling potion. Kentucky, it seems you may be in need of this. Just toss it over to him.
Okay.
And I should say, can I do that as either a free or a bonus action?
I'll let you do it as a bonus action, but I want to see if Kentucky is in can catch it.
Oh, that's not good.
As you toss this potion bottle over to him, and he's looking pretty like he's had some damage done to him. I'm going to see as he reaches out his hands, he's going to try his best to catch even.
Oh god.
This is old man toss.
That's awful.
This ain't fast pitch baseball.
Oh my god.
You watch as the bottle slips in between his grasp and falls and shatters on the ground.
Oh,
Look it up.
There's glass in there, but you should be fine.
You just hear him go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he just wipes some blood off of his face as the horses are still kind of like running. It's all like happening at one time. You were trying to like toss this bottle while the horses are running, and he just couldn't grasp it.
It matters not. You may want to retreat a little, though. You're a little rough shape. You there. Who are you? What is your name? Talking to the one that I'm on the horse with.
My name's Zombo.
Well, Umbo. That large one that is. Not the one that is with us, the one in front of it. Take your crossbow and shoot at its head.
Shoot his head?
Yep.
Okay.
And with that,
what are you going to do?
Molfin is going to hold a spell
Oh no.
to cast on the head of the arrow as it leaves.
Okay. So, Molfin's starting to kind of he's getting his mind right for these incantations, as he gives Zombo some instructions.
Zombo.
And that brings us to Diana. If Molfin doesn't have any more actions that he'd like to do,
No, he's staying right beside this guy and just waiting with getting his spell ready to release the second that arrow leaves.
Nice. All right, Diana, you are still stealthy, flying above.
Poppin'.
What would you like to do?
Move to Callista, wherever she may be.
Okay. Yeah, she moved south of you.
I moved down. Yeah, I moved south.
Awesome. Is she within my range?
I moved 80 feet, so I'm over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll go down to Callista and I'll say this should help you. Should you need it? Should you go beast shape and you feel the need to attack? If they attack you back, you can save yourself
All right.
if you might need it. And then, as a bonus action, I will cast Shield of Faith on myself. So my
Nice.
15 is now 17.
All right.
Oh wait, those are both concentration. Never mind.
Aw.
Oh yeah, there are. So you'd only be able
Don't worry
to
about
Better,
me.
keep
better.
one.
I have a plan. It's okay. You don't have to cast it on me.
Do you have
It's
another
okay.
spell, bonus action spell that you would like to cast in its place that's not concentration?
I don't think that I do actually, which is
Don't you have
odd. I
healing
feel as
word?
though I should have more bonus actions, but I don't.
Healing word for
I have
Kentucky-
healing word.
for Kentucky.
For Kentucky, yeah.
I can't reach Kentucky from here.
Oh yeah, true. He's kind of far.
Diana, heal a Zenturum?
Yeah,
I can't do that. I don't know. Oh my
So
god.
fun character,
Eric
never
just
mind.
told me. Ilmater just told me he's not actually real. It's all been a hoax. It's a placebo effect. I'm sorry. You're not really healed. No.
Awesome.
I will just wait then and not do anything else.
Okay, gotcha. So, Diana, are you able to access your token at the top and move it down to where Callista
Oh, yeah,
is? Are you able to do that?
Where's homegirl at?
Here, I'll shift ping where you are. If it will allow
No, I
me.
know where I am. I
Yeah.
don't know where Callista is.
She's
I'm
80.
over
She's
here.
80 feet directly south of you. So if you just kind of scroll down, you'll be able to see her on the back of Malik, flying above the trees. Kind of more like gliding there, just trying to stay nice and quiet as she sends her massive giant elk in to do all her dirty work. That's-
So I'm gonna just chill with her and our resistance.
It's almost
and
like-
that.
It's like every battle, Callista surprises me with something I didn't expect. And
And yet everyone says I'm the one throwing wrenches into plans.
Callista improved them.
My plan.
All right, Deshara, riding on the back of Screecher, is also kind of stealthy here, but she's not sure what her role is in all of this. So what she's going to do is she's going to try to, with her new kind of found somewhat friendship with Callista, I would say, she's going to move down here and follow Diana and Callista, kind of like thinking that maybe they're thinking about flanking from the other side. So she's
That's
going to start
exactly what I'm thinking.
she's going to start going at, and then Quinn and Gizzard up here would just kind of follow Screecher, and basically they would take orders from Deshara as they're just flying down here, kind of in a line, moving that way. So that brings us to the top of the round with the frost giant that's currently prone, standing right underneath this massive giant, enormous elk. I can't think of any other words that we can add to that because this thing that's huge. So he is going to use half of his movement to stand up. So let me access my token there, roll 20, thank you. And he stands up, and he's got this massive elk in front of him. I'm going to double check what weapon he was wielding from last time. Okay, he has a massive great club that he's wielding. He's going to try to just take it and just like swipe at the giant elk, like right across his face.
Okay.
So, seeing this new threat, you can see the giant elk can see the panic in the frost giant's eyes as he's got these
Eat 'em, Bambi.
wounds bleeding everywhere. So here comes two great club attacks. The first one and second
That'll
one.
hit. Both will hit.
Both will hit. So the wood just like slams off the face of the giant elk one way, and then he just turns around and swings again and just smacks him. You can see some splinters of this bluish-looking wood just go kind of you just like flying in the air all around us. So let's see how this first attack is 28 bludgeoning damage, and the second one is 26 bludgeoning damage as both of them slam right into the giant elk's face.
I think he's gone.
He's
I think he's gone. Hang on,
Fif-
double check. Yeah, he's
54
gone.
damage.
Yeah,
holy
he's gone.
hell.
gone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So, and just
that's
like
fine.
that, so this giant elk, as quickly as you brought him into the world, he kind of evaporates out, kind of similar to the way that the lynx was brought in. And
That's okay. I was banking on his first attack working, so that's all I cared about.
that's and he is going to use the rest of his movement to. He's got about 20 feet left, so he's going to move back a little bit. And still is unable, even though Lachlan is there. Lachlan is still... Lachlan, about how high in the air would you be?
I'm probably up. I'm up pretty high right now.
Okay. All right. So give me a ballpark number.
Let's call it 80 feet.
80 feet? Okay, good. Yeah. You're up way above his line of sight where he could see you easily. So, and you rolled incredibly on your stealth checks. So that brings us to Kentucky. Kentucky looking pretty hurt and thinking about what Molfin had said. Molfin, you catch a glimpse of... go ahead and make an insight check for me, Molfin.
Ooh. We like insight. Let's see. We definitely like insight check.
Hey, yo, inside check.
You get the idea that he's having an internal struggle right now, but it almost seems like bravery is winning out. And he continues to head forward. But he moves this way, kind of pulls the reins back on the horse, and then decides he's going to...
I'm so accurate.
jump off of the horse.
Oh,
And he uses the final movement. He's going to move back here behind these rocks for right now. As he is pulling out some swords and weapons, realizing that his heavy crossbow was completely and utterly destroyed with the rock. So it looks like he's like now in a place where he's really trying to fight a mental battle on what he wants to do and how he wants to accomplish this. The rest of them, Zombo gets his crossbow bolt ready and goes ahead and takes a shot. And then at this point...
And he's going to roll an 18.
He's going to roll an 18, which will strike the giant in the face.
As that comes off, Molfin looses his spell on the arrow.
Okay.
Why did I know?
And what happens to the arrow here, Molfin?
So as those near him will see a small, tiny speck of basically just pitch black come out of the top of the crystal on Molfin's staff. And as the arrow leaves, penetrates the tip of the arrow, and as it flies towards the giant, it literally just expands into a 30-foot diameter sphere of darkness.
so now I can't see.
Yeah, basically. That's what happens. You said 30 foot? Was it a 30-foot sphere?
Yeah, it's a
so
15-foot
actually
radius centered on him.
Okay, let's see if we can...
Oh, yeah, it is this one, so yeah.
If you want, I can draw one up.
Yeah, can you draw one up for us and put it on the map? And you should have just let him roll naturally. He would have rolled a crit. But it's okay. He did. He definitely as the crossbow bolt makes its impact. Now all of a sudden, Ashlyn, you just see nothing. You can't see anything but black.
What happened?
And I think everybody else can see that just. It looks like a sphere of just black. Looks
Hello?
like is that it, Molfin? Like everybody,
Yep.
like even if you're not in it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just a massive circle of darkness centered right on his. I mean, right. It's on the arrow, which is now embedded in the giant.
Nice. So as you hear this, all you heard, Ashlyn, was a call out of pain a couple of feet in front of you, and now it's just darkness, just pitch black.
Uh-oh.
Harshnag's just like, you hear Harshnag's voice. Oh, what happened?
I don't know. Am I closing my eyes again?
I can't see you. Where?
Okay, then it's not me.
I can't see anything.
Neither can I.
Muh.
Are you closing your eyes?
I don't know. Are you?
No.
You're not?
No.
Stop pulling so hard on my beard.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Zombo's attack strikes as this Zombo's just going to move up a little bit. He actually moves up over here next to where Kentucky is, and you can see that the rest of the Zentrum kind of come up and they stop the horses right around in this area. as they're kind of just surrounding the area. He's kind of staying back a little bit because he's got this other riding horse in tow, just kind of pulling it around. So these other two Zents are going to go ahead and take shots at, well, 15 feet. It's in her face. I would probably have to say she would probably be completely engulfed in that darkness. So they're just kind of they're gonna hold their action for when they can see their target, because they can't almost see even past it to the other one as the other one's kind of running back away. So yeah, they will go ahead and hold their action, and that brings us to Sarvin. Oh, this one, yeah, this one's gonna move over too. Sarvin not really knowing what's going on as well. Hey, thank you so much for the host. We appreciate that. We are going to have Sarvin's going to do the same thing. He's going to move over towards Molfin. For some reason, I have a feeling that you had something to do with this.
I certainly do not know what you are speaking of.
Well, and he knocks another arrow and he pulls back and he's got it ready and he's just like looking at this. Let me know whenever you're going to stop the nonsense so we can put this giant down. I could just
I can't see.
I could just take a shot in there, but I'm afraid I'm going to hit Ashlyn. And I don't want to make the Harshnag angry.
Fair point.
Well, then be prepared.
I became king for a reason. It wasn't because I was stupid.
The shade is real.
Molfin is just sitting here going,
Both physical.
Oh, so Sarvin is just holding his action. This other frost giant, now completely in darkness, and has the arrow stuck in her face. She is going to blindly swing at Harshnag. So it's going to be made with disadvantage as she gets ready. She's got this massive stone hammer that she's wielding, and she's going to try to bust up Harshnag with it. Stone hammer. Here comes the first swing and the second swing as she swings both attacks towards with disadvantage. The first one, you feel Harshnag move, Ashlyn, as he almost has a sense that this thing is coming. You hear this. You hear it cutting through the wind, and this as this massive hammer and you can feel the breeze as it blows through your hair, and then you feel it again as it comes back across you. These two massive attacks just miss and just kind of go through the air, cut through the air, and blow through there. Not sure what to do. She thinks that I got to get out of here. So she's going to go ahead and run backwards towards... Actually, you know what? Molfin, go ahead and roll a D8 for me. Let's see what direction she actually runs.
Oh, no.
So she's going to kind of move this direction. She's going to move, and she kind of stumbles over top of one of these buildings down here. So you can go ahead and move that circle.
Yep.
And Harshnag and Ashlyn, if you would both like to take an attack of opportunity, you may, but you will have disadvantage because of the darkness before. Well, it doesn't matter for Ashlyn apparently. She slams the quarterstaff into the fleeing giant as you kind of gauged the direction of where she was coming from by that wind that just blew through your hair, the missed attacks, and you swipe across, hitting her in the shoulder. for another 8 points of damage. And Harshnag also is going to take a swing with disadvantage. Let's see how he does. Here's our named NPCs. We've got Harshnag. I'm going to make sure I'm not whispering his rolls for you guys. There we go. So he's going to make an attack with disadvantage.
Oh.
And he will miss, as he's not really sure where those attacks really came from. He just kind of felt them coming. And he whiffs with his great axe as well. Oh, Ashlyn, where'd she go?
I
What?
think in the
What?
big cloud of darkness.
Is that her?
Maybe.
What
Are
happened?
Her eyes open?
What happened to
I
her?
don't know. Uncle Muffin!
And Lachlan, it's your turn.
Not the first time Ashlyn's in complete darkness. Like we just did this in the Shadowfell.
Didn't we just do this? My goodness.
We did.
As I-
The Callista's not there to stop it.
The giant that had been prone, they moved a little bit. Do we have? Is it pretty clear that that giant's going somewhere in particular, or like do they look like they're looking for something?
It looks as if it looks like when you guys approached that they were possibly looking through something, crumbling buildings, like looking through the rubble. But now it seems that this tall, like lanky male frost giant looks almost like he's trying to get away, possibly. And now you can only see below you is like it looks like a giant black sphere just rolling through Fireshear. That's what you see.
Exactly.
All right, then I'm gonna pull out Gimble's crossbow and I'm gonna shoot the one that's near me here.
Okay. Oh, and as you're trying to hold still to take this shot, you're hanging off of the side. You've got your head looking through the scope. You fire, and you can just see that the wind kind of slightly takes your shot as you're flying, and you can see it just go a couple feet wide of the giant, as the giant is actually running and retreating as well.
All right, and then I'm just gonna kind of maneuver out of the way a little bit here, and that's my turn.
Okay. That takes us to the lynx.
Okay, so the lynx is going to finish following its instruction and is going to curl up right on, like right up against Kentucky's leg. You know, doing this typical house cat, you know, sort of rub up against him.
Well, hello there, kitty. As he wipes blood from his face.
Aww.
Where did you come from?
Just look at him.
Nice. So that brings us to Harshnag. Harshnag, looking kind of confused at the black sphere that is just running away. He can hear like the stomps and the footprints of the frost giant. Then sees this other one running, and starts to have that berserkerish grin come across his face, Ashlyn. As you continue to stay on his shoulder, he's going to run up back behind this frost giant, and he's going to go ahead and he's going to take some attacks with his great axe.
Nice.
And he lifts it high above his head, and he's bringing it down as hard as he possibly can onto the back of this giant, as the giant looks back with a look of fear in his eyes. And here comes the first, and here comes the second.
Yeah.
As he brings one down, you can see it drives right into the back of the frost giant, and then he picks it up and he just kind of slashes across the back, and you can see the frost giant kind of puff out his chest with the pain that's coming through his back, and he goes, "Ah!" As this thing slashes through his back for 45 points of damage total in that turn.
I go, that's awesome.
Yeah. They deserve it. Every last one of them. And he just looks like you can see in his eyes, he's just got this rage going on. That will end his turn. That brings us to Ashlyn. Ashlyn, you've
Okay.
got some kind of dark frost giant blood like that's squirted on top of you after those 2 slashes from that great axe. Nice.
So
Now she has
2
football
quarter-
eye black underneath both eyes as she wipes it across her face.
So I'm gonna do my 2 quarterstaffs. I don't think that
Oh,
hits.
yeah,
right?
yeah. The first one, as that frost giant is kind of like billowing around with the pain, your quarterstaff it's unable to meet its mark.
There we go.
But then you come across, and as the giant starts to kind of fade back towards you, you make a good connection onto the back of his neck.
There we go. And then I'm gonna use. No, I'm just gonna do martial arts for another one.
Martial arts for another one. Oh my goodness. And then immediately the frost giant turns around just to see where that shot came from. And then with the punch right to the eyeball, Ashlyn just slams this giant for, for another 8
That's okay.
points of bludgeoning damage. And just reaches up, puts his hand over his eye, and you can see, Ashlyn, the blood pouring down the back of this frost giant. He is not looking good at all. He's looking in very bad shape. Anything else that you can do for this turn, Ashlyn?
I try to give Harshnag a high five, but then I realize how big he is, then I kind of like turn away. And then kind of like,
He
I'm
kind
moving the robot.
Nice. He kind of looks at you awkwardly as you're holding your hand up to give him a high five. He doesn't really he understands what you're doing, but he's afraid that if he does it, he will flick you off of him and send you flying a mile. So he knows
Okay,
better than
fair
that than to do that. And then as you're doing the robot, he kind of changes his facial expressions. You need to teach me how to do that later.
Awesome. Will do.
Excellent. So that brings us to Callista.
Okay. Well, I can only see the one, so I'm gonna do a moonbeam on him.
A moonbeam.
And not hit the other 2, just him.
Okay.
Okay. So a moonbeam, DC 15, Constitution save. All right. Let's go to his character sheet here. Let's see how he
So
did.
he takes half.
Takes half, so he took 5 points of damage as the moonbeam. All of a sudden, how tall of a cylinder is the moonbeam, Callista?
40 feet high.
40 feet high. So yeah, Ashlyn, as you got done punching this giant in the eye, all of a sudden you see like a beam of this light, this mystical light, kind of shine down onto the frost giant, and you can see that the flesh starts to sizzle of the frost giant a little bit underneath all the wounds.
Ew.
He is
You will see Callista's earring, her crescent moon earring, is glowing at the same time.
awesome.
That's pretty
Cool.
cool.
That is pretty cool. And the frost giant, Ashlyn, from what you can see from this close up, is on death's door.
Yes.
Callista, anything else that you would be doing? You still have movement left.
Yep. I'm moving over here.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit back, actually. Probably like, yeah, right there.
All right. So Callista makes her way more south.
Yep.
And she's heading down around.
I'm trying to go around.
Trying to go around.
Yeah.
The battle got a lot bigger area now that the other frost giant has no idea where it's running to. So that brings us to Mulfin.
So as Mulfin's looking around, it looks like everybody short of Kentucky has basically just got bows trained on this giant black sphere of darkness.
They're just holding them up, aiming like arrows, just like nobody wanted to take a shot whenever they were close to Harshnag and Ashlyn. They might take shots next time just because there's nobody in the way, but they're just not sure exactly what is going on.
So Mulfin is going to hop down off the horse, and walk a little ways away. Come stand over, like just off to the side of this one, and address the row of them.
Okay.
Attention, everyone! Prepare. Take aim. And Molfen is going to drop concentration. So the sphere of darkness vanishes.
Oh.
And then as everyone, I'm assuming, is releasing their held actions,
Yep.
Molfen will burn the nat 20 and send a firebolt at him.
Nice. So, nat 20 is being used. There it goes, friends. Molfen has just used his nat 20, and it has disappeared. Go ahead and roll your crit damage as this firebolt slams into the back of the
Okay, so it is,
female frost giant.
So it's 4d10.
Nice.
Not great, but
That's still pretty good. As the firebolt hits, several crossbow bolts and arrows go flying as well towards this frost giant. So now everybody can see her. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 crossbow bolts from the Zentrum guards. So here comes 4 crossbow bolts as they head heavy crossbows. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those go flying as Molfen all of a sudden has become a warlord and is just he is directing his army of NPCs. It's awesome. So the first one definitely strikes. Is you guys after the almost this is all happened kind of simultaneously as the firebolt slams into the back of this frost giant. Another crossbow bolt strikes, hits in the back of the thigh area and causes quite a bit of pain. The unfortunately, the other 3 Zentrum, 2 of them completely miss their mark, and the one kind of bounces off of some of the armor that she is wearing. It's unable to penetrate. Joel and Orange Peel actually takes a short bow shot as well. He's going to roll. Unfortunately, the arrow doesn't even get close to the frost giant before it hits the ground and skitters across the icy ground. You see him like, man, I gotta get this. And then Sarvin unloads his 2 shots that he was holding towards the same frost giant. And so here comes 2 longbow attacks from Sarvin as you guys are just impressed with how quick he can load this thing. He just like one comes out, fires, the other one comes out and fires for a just as a large creature like a dragonborn is. He's very dexterous. The first one definitely strikes, but the second one, as the giant is taking all this damage and moving a little bit, the other arrow just doesn't quite meet its mark, and deals 8 points of piercing damage to the giant. I believe that was everybody that was holding an action on that. Yes, Molfen, well done. Well done, Molfen.
And then as a bonus action, Molfen is casting... Actually, no, that's it. Molfen's not going to do that.
That'll be it?
I
Okay.
thought you were going to say he was going to
Ridiculous.
bow or something.
All right. And then
Just
I lost you that
good job,
second.
man. Keep it up. Good job, man. Keep it up.
Kentucky's kind of looking over, he looks beat up, but he's kind of impressed. And Diana, that brings us to you as you've kind of supercharged Callista a little bit, and now saw her kind of flying down south a little bit.
That lasts up to 1 minute, and I know that each round is 6 seconds. Is that all 6 seconds happening simultaneously, or is each turn 6 seconds?
each turn is like basically from the top to the bottom of the turn order is about 6 seconds. So everything almost happens simultaneously within the turn, but it's like 10.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like 10 rounds that thing will
10
last.
rounds.
Okay.
So
Cool. I was just
yeah.
like, so is she no longer under the effects? Because wow, that went fast.
No, I'm good.
No. This is only the
It's
second
10
turn.
10 turns of my turn.
Yeah. So it'll last.
Okay.
It'll last a while.
Well, am I within 120 feet of these giants?
You may be. Let's
How should have measured that out?
yeah.
There
If you
you go.
take
Yep,
that, yeah,
yep,
you
you
are.
are.
You are.
Wow.
Then I'm a scorching ray them. Yeet. One.
Which one are you aiming at? Are you aiming
Two.
at the bigger female one or the kind of really beat up male frost giant that Harshnag and Ashlyn have been working on?
The bigger female one, because we need to start knocking her down some.
Okay.
I think only one of those hit.
Yeah, as you start to fire off these rays of just fire energy kind of streaking out of your hands, the first one hits her perfectly in the back as she's still just taking these impacts to the back from all these attacks. And she kind of like whips around and is able to kind of dodge the second two that go just zinging by and just hitting the ground behind her, kind of melting some of the snow. Go ahead and roll your damage for the first one, though. As it,
3!
3 points of fire damage as it burns and sizzles some of the flesh on her back, burning some of the armor off of her as well.
I call out to Molfin and I say, I can help too.
Molfin will just flag an arm like, come join the
I
front
think-
line then.
Molfin, it was
singed
pretty
her
cool too.
eyebrows.
It was pretty cool too because she's flying about 80 feet in the air in like this foggy mist, and you just saw this like these scorching rays just fly out of this foggy mist, and then you hear that call out of the air like
God is just like, I
Yeah.
got you. I singed an eyebrow.
And Molfin, it reminds you of that time she was in that shop and she did that thaumaturgy thing and went all crazy
Oh
on
my
you.
God. That was amazing.
But the Molfin's looking a little paranoid over his shoulder, but it's still like,
My aim is all right. I don't aim like how I drive.
Okay.
And that's it.
All
you gonna
right.
move or
Are you
you
gonna?
gonna
Oh yeah, you're gonna
No,
move.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Ooh, I might move a little bit closer just so that way I don't have as far to go. If anyone gets injured, I'll move like in the middle ground, like there.
Okay. So you still are you flying about the same height as Lachlan, about 80 feet?
Indeed.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna have Deshara and Screecher and these griffins. They see Callista. They're gonna just kind of follow Callista. Just kind of keeping into this kind of like this seems like a move that she would have been familiar with being in this griffin cavalry kind of attitude, you know, bringing the cavalry around to the side to surprise the kind of like the whole Braveheart kind of thing. Bringing the cavalry in from the flank. All right. This male frost giant looking like he's on death's door, not really sure what to do.
Is he? Okay, never mind. Keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah, he would still be in the moonbeam, right? Is that?
Yeah, because then that means he starts his turn, so he takes another 2d10.
Oh my goodness. You rolling that for us?
Yep.
It doesn't really matter because he only had 1 hit point left. So, Callista, why don't you describe what happens as this frost giant loses what is left of his life?
He pretty much disintegrates, except for any of his items, but his body kind of just burns in the moonlight and like crackles into like ash.
Awesome. Yeah, Ashlyn, you got a
Yeah.
front row seat of this. Is this moonbeam like a purple light that's shining down?
Yeah, it's a purple radiant light.
It's this purple radiant light that kind of glimmers and sparkles almost as like glitter was all through it, Ashlyn.
Pretty.
But it's odd, even though it looks so pretty, you start to see like the flesh of this frost giant just start to
Oh.
rot off of his skull. And as
so
he's
I
like,
go to touch it, and I'm like, oh, probably.
and it starts to melt off, and then you see as it's melting off, it's just turning into ash and just like slowly falling like snow down towards the ground. And
I
then
go, Callista, that's so pretty. Do it again.
Okay. It's still there. It's not moving.
Yeah,
Okay.
the moonbeam is still there. Yeah, it's just this sparkle, and now there's a pile of ash lying there, where the
Ooh.
frost giant used to stand.
Pretty and deadly. Like all of us, ladies.
I'll go ahead and remove him from the turn order because he doesn't really get to do anything now, unless he can reanimate somehow. Wait, Molfin? Reanimated pile of ash. Let's see how that works.
But
Awesome.
now we know what Callista's going to be doing. Oh, that body's dead. Burn it. That body's dead. Burn it.
Burn it!
Don't let Wolf near it. It's going to be burnt.
Nice. So that giant being reduced to a pile of ash and what looks like bone particles. Kentucky standing there. He's just gonna kind of like look on, and he sees that the other giant has been defeated. He's gonna kind of take the dodge action, that if anything comes flying at him, he'll be able to try to roll out of the way. The rest of the group are all going to go ahead and continue to take shots at the remaining frost giant. So Sarvin, I'll go ahead. Well, Sarvin's going to do the same thing because he's up next anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and use his since I can access his character sheet a little bit quicker. So here comes 2 longbow attacks from Sarvin as he fires towards the other frost giant. And the first one of those is going to strike again as the arrow plunges into the armor, piercing the armor of the frost giant and able to make purchase. The other 4, well, Jolin's going to go ahead and try to take another shot too, and Sarvin's going to try to coach him this time. Tell him to just relax. Take a deep breath this time. Where is your courage? You have plenty of courage. You can do this. He's trying to think up of a name to call Jolin too. So in the run. So here comes Jolin's shot, and this one doesn't come close either. As it kind of looks like it's kind of like going to like a Cub Scout camp or some kind of, like if you guys have ever seen like little Cub Scouts try to use a bow for the first time, and they're like the arrows like flopping around and stuff, and he's able to just get it and it just kind of flies to the side. Jolin the Jackalope. Nice. If any of our Twitch viewers can think of a cool name for Sarvin to call Jolin just kind of there. Yes.
Jolin just kind of there. Yep, accurate.
Jolin the just kind of there. I like that one a lot. That one's good. So
we made your father into a
yeah, which he still doesn't know about yet. We'll have to see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I'm going to hell for that.
Too dark.
All right. Here comes 4 heavy crossbows from the rest of the Zents. One of them, the first one again, Zombo is doing a great job.
Good job, Zombo.
As he's able to strike the giant again. And the other 3, for some reason, are unable to connect with any of their shots so far, as these crossbow bolts just kind of go flying wide, some of them short, bouncing off of some of the rubble in front of them. All right. So that ends Kentucky and Sarvin's turn. That brings us up to the frost giant, who... looks like she's in desperation mode. Running south, picks up a boulder, and throws it directly towards Ashlyn
Ooh. That's not good.
to try to get her off of Harshnag's shoulder. So here comes the rock as it comes flying towards you.
Oh, that'll hit me.
That will hit, and it will do 37 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, I'm still up.
You're still up?
That's okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to make a strength saving throw for me.
I'm sorry.
Or actually, let's make this dexterity, a dexterity save. It's more based on your balance, of being able to balance on top. Yeah, so you take the impact, you slip a little bit, Ashlyn, but you're able to kind of regain your footing. You grab a hold of Harshnag's beard. He's like, oh, a little bit as you kind of pull,
Yep.
but you're able to stabilize yourself. And then she continues to take the rest of her movement running this way. And she gets to about here as she's running down towards this longer stone structure down here at the bottom. That brings us to Lachlan.
All right, I'm gonna close the. Oh, wrong thing. I'm gonna close some of the distance here. Uh-oh, did I just do a thing?
Oh no.
I broke it.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Come back.
it's coming back. I do that all the time where I back out by accident.
Yeah. Not down closer to this. The giant. I'm gonna shoot it with the crossbow.
Okay. Excellent. So as Lachlan prepares his shot,
Just trying to get my character sheet here.
yeah, your camera took a minute to load there.
Probably doesn't hit.
Is that the 10? Do you have
Yeah,
it?
it's a
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, you don't have advantage on this one, do you?
Right.
Yeah, so this one you watch again as it flies wide, Lachlan. You're getting kind of you're almost a little bit frustrated with yourself. You should be able to be. You should be better than this.
Yeah.
You're Lachlan
Trying
the
to hang on to the
legendary.
grip. Balance isn't there.
Yep.
You're disappointed.
Otherwise, it's my turn.
All right.
Okay.
The Lynx is up. It's just kind of cuddling next to Kentucky right now.
Mhm.
That's all it's going to be doing.
All right, he's going to continue doing that. Harshnag,
Okay.
seeing that Ashlyn took that massive shot, kind of looks over to you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Let's go get her.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go for it.
You're my kind of little one. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And he starts charging. 10, 15. He picks up a rock of his own on his way over,
Oh.
and he's going to throw it back at her. I think his rocks are a little bit better, though. Let me check.
Okay, good.
His rocks are named Ashlyn.
yeah, he's
Oh
good.
no.
So here comes his rock attack as he throws it right at her.
Okay.
And that will connect as it connects to the back of her head. You can see that
How's she looking?
she is looking very, very rough. And you can see the blood is pouring down the back of her neck now, and this rock, the impact, has knocked her ponytail completely out, and her hair is just like sticking out everywhere on the top of her head. That will end Harshnag's turn. Ashlyn, you're up, but you still have a little bit of distance.
Yeah, it's 20 feet to get down Harshnag, though, right?
Yes, it would be, yeah.
Then it'd be 15 feet to run, and I can do that.
You can do that? All right, so
All right, I'm gonna scuttle down Harshnag.
Harshnag seems to like leave his arm down, so you can kind of easily run down it as well as you
And
start to
I'm
head on.
barely on my feet, but I'm like, come on, bitch, let's go.
Nice.
I'm gonna go 2 longbow. Oh, I meant quarterstaff.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's like what's she doing?
Quarterstaff, quarterstaff.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a
yeah. The first one definitely makes the impact. The second one, you kind of swing around and she's easily able to dodge that one. She looks really, really hurt.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do flurry of blows and spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed attacks.
Okay, bring him on. As you're kind of punching her in the back of the. Oh my goodness! Again.
Just the 15
Oh.
hit?
The 15 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage for
Okay,
both.
so the 15, and then
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Ashlyn, I'm gonna let you in on the first one was enough to bring her down.
oh,
So
okay.
as you bring her down, you're actually gonna crit her on the way down. So describe to us what that actually looks like as she's falling.
So she's falling and her hair's like all in the wind, and I'm like, bitch, you ugly, and I smack her in the face. And she goes down the building.
And she crumbles down, and you watch as she slams down on the side of this building right here, Ashlyn, and crumples the corner of it a little bit, and the stones start to fall away. And you can see there's all kinds of like different things inside this this structure that's right beside here. And that takes us out of initiative order. So I'm going to remove all the turns, as both of these frost giants have been eliminated.
In the distance, Diana yells, Ashlyn, get your butt over here. You need healing.
Yes, Diana. I'm gonna get healed.
All right, I'm going to give us some other music. Take us out of this
I'm gonna
extreme
fly.
battle music.
I'm gonna fly down, and I'm gonna, do a little think on her nose, and cast Cure Wounds at level 2
Okay.
for her.
All right. There
So you
go.
have
You.
15 more points of health. Don't know how well that is. We really need to get health poultices. That's something we should do at the next town that we're in.
Yeah, probably. But thank you.
Well,
I feel so much better. You're the best.
Oh, thank you. You're the best.
So it's close to. I don't know where she is.
Yeah, where's Krista?
Over
You should
here.
find her and tell her she's the best too.
I'm fine.
Krista.
I'm good.
All right.
Wolfen's just going to spend a little time talking to his troops.
What would you be saying to them, Molfin?
Well, you all made excellent attempts, but Zumbo here, look at the victor of the day. Multiple shots on target. You need to do more like he was. Practice your aim. Continue. I mean, look at poor Kentucky is half knocked out of his brain, and he is still here.
I want to go.
Wow.
To the barn thing.
You're gonna go to the barn thing? Okay.
Yeah, look and see if there's anything cool inside.
Oh yeah, Ashlyn, as you kind of peek inside the crumpled area next to this dead frost giant's corpse,
Yep.
you can see inside it. It looks like some type of storage building that has all kinds of things in there. There's you see lots of barrels and crates, what it looks like mining equipment, just all sorts of things. Go ahead and make a perception check as well. Oh, nice.
Oh my god!
Very nice. You also notice that there are symbols. It almost looks like a family crest of some sort on a lot of the crates, and they're all matching symbols. And sometimes under the symbol you can see like that it has a name written on it, it's Mirthbrook seems to be the name that are on a lot of these things. From what you can tell, it looks like some type of family storage unit of some sort. But it's all really good quality stuff. Even what looks to be some crates of food items, kegs of ale, things of that nature. Just looks like a mixture of a lot of different things.
Can I find a cask and open the ale and give Uncle Molfin a pint?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna
So
do.
Ash,
Uncle Molfin, you're so silly with the darkness.
so actually you find like you said like you're looking for.
Like a pint glass.
Okay, yeah. You actually find one in there that has this this family symbol on it, the Millbrook symbol, and you kind of fill it up with some good ale, and you walk it over to Molfin, and Molfin Ashlyn is handing you this
There you go.
this beverage.
Can I check the bodies of these giants?
Absolutely, you can. Go ahead and make a. Well, I'm not even gonna make you roll, Callista, as you go ahead over to the giants. They both had bags that were kind of laying over by where they were standing initially. When combat began, they kind of dropped them and were kind of running away. The one inside his bag, the one that you basically incinerated, he had inside his treasure one broken wagon wheel. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
And
It's a frisbee.
the other one had one giant-sized shabby cloak made of wool that's kind of like wrapped around. And as you're picking it up, you can almost feel like as if there's something inside it.
Okay.
And,
I'll look.
and then you kind of open it up, you unroll it, and there is it's a weapon. It's you see that there's a mace in front of you, and it's elegantly carved down at the handle, and at the top of it, it looks like the top of the mace. It's this hand. And inside the hand, it's gripping this kind of decorated heart shape inside the hand as it's kind of clutching it, and kind of looks like it's you can see like the muscle features in the hand. It's carved out of iron, and it's just like holding on to this heart at the top. Around the bottom of the hand where the wrist would be, there's a band that goes around that helps to attach it, and it's inlaid with some nice shiny red rubies that go around it.
Ooh.
Okay. We'll definitely need to identify that later.
Molfin's going to sort of wander away from Ashlyn, taking the mug and... Thank you, my dear.
You're welcome.
And as he gets a little out of sight, heading towards the barn where he saw her coming from,
Mm-hmm.
upends the cup.
So you just dumping it out?
Yep.
All right.
Aw.
Molfin's having flashbacks.
Oh, what?
Nice.
Sorry.
Molfin has a bit of a problem.
I go, Uncle Melvin, steal me a rope.
As you're kind of walking away with that mug, Molfin, Sarvin is kind of like standing around. He kind of looks over towards you. And he's what are you holding? What is that?
Oh, Ashlyn brought me over a beverage on this container. I was going back to where she came from with it and see where it comes from.
Can I see that for a second?
Oh, but of course. Here you go.
He kind of reaches out and takes it. Really? And he starts to, if you're walking over there, he's kind of like walking with you, but he's kind of silent and just like staring at this mug as he's headed with you.
You seem to know something of this.
I know what this means. I know what this is.
Ugh.
Would you care to share?
He kind of like he seems to hesitate a bit, Molfin. Just as he's walking up, he kind of stops before you get to like the opening part, and he just looks at this storage building, and then he kind of just like stares off to the right, kind of like a Luke Skywalker into the sunset kind of deal. He stares off towards Fireshear, and he's like, sometimes I wish we would have let him crush it.
What?
And then he throws the mug down next to the building and just kind of stares at the storage structure.
Can I insight check him?
Sure.
What is around here?
Am I
Sorry.
near this? I think if I had touched Ashlyn, I would be near all this.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of said it softly, but he wasn't hiding it from anybody.
I
Some
have
of-
Sarvin, what is your family name?
My family name. Well, if you're asking because you think it's Mirthbrook, it's not. My family name is
And-
King of the Frozenfar.
What?
Molfin just rolls his eyes.
And he,
So what's your
see,
beef with the Mirthbrook?
go to make a persuasion check, Diana.
Oh,
There's your-
okay. Let me pull that up.
And as they're doing that, Molfin just goes right into the entrance and is going to cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
And just basically, half sort of crawling through, one looking for a rope for Ashlyn, but two looking if he's seeing anything lighting up with any telltale magic signatures in the building.
Oh
Okay.
man.
I'm gonna fly up and just do perception to see where the others are, like the other giants. See if I can see anything.
Okay. So you kind of take to the air, Callista, and you're flying around. You guys can you can still hear, as you guys are doing all this now that we're out of combat, that occasional, every couple minutes, you can hear that horn call coming from Dashara's residence. Molfin, are you casting that as a spell, or are you using it as a ritual?
No, I'm just going to burn the spell slot.
Okay, as you burn the spell, you do not sense anything magical in this storage compartment, but the items that are in here, it seems like all like standard like supplies, but high quality supplies. Like these look like they've kind of top market value, kind of really good grade stuff. There are mostly a lot of like mining gear, food storage, all kinds of different things, nice blankets, things that you would have in your home. It just seems like there's an awful lot of it. It's stacked up, and some of it's in crates. Lots of good ales from different places of the north. Even really good tools from Mirabar that the dwarves make and kind of ship down. Just all kinds of really good things. You have no problem finding really good quality 50 feet of hempen rope for Ashlyn. Basically anything that's kind of in the player's handbook as far as adventuring supplies is in this storage building pretty much.
Molfin going to do a little digging for about 10 minutes and come up with some supplies for the group.
Diana, Sarvin looks at you, and he's got a different look in his eye than you've ever seen from him. And he looks at you and says, "If you will finally accept my carving of you, I will gladly tell you what bothers me." You see,
Tell Sarvin
And he-
to roll a persuasion roll.
he pulls out another miniature that he made for you, but he's just been really hesitant to even try to give it to you after the last two that he gave.
Sarvin! Oh no! I kind of want to let the dice decide, but I kind of don't.
Do you want Sarvin to make a persuasion check on Diana?
Oh man, it'd be really funny if he rolled a nat one, but I'm not gonna do it to him. I'll role play it out.
All right.
Sarvin. Fine. Give me the thing, and I'll snatch it from him.
Okay.
What's bothering you?
So Diana aggressively takes the miniature out of Sarvin's hand, and we will find out what he says when we return from our break this evening.
Dang it!
Because I gotta.
It always ends when I'm doing something cool.
I gotta give you time to
leave the best
prepare.
Hangers.
Yeah, you leave the best cliffhangers, Diana. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, I kissed Zulkin. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, you
Make Callista cry.
made Callista cry. Yeah, we had some.
Wait, wow.
It's you bring the high drama to the episodes
I
there, Diane.
am. I'm like,
Is drama
infiltrating.
Awesome.
I'm a diva.
So at this time, I want to go ahead and make a really cool announcement. On Friday, May the 4th, we are going to have a special one-shot right here on Friday night at Proficiency Bonus, run by our very own, I guess this would be first-time Dungeon Master, Christy Mystic Water, everybody. This is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. She's going to be running her first game. We're going to go ahead and do it live as a stream. So it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. She is working really hard to get it all prepped and ready. I'm going to actually get to play in it, so I'm excited. I was reading a lot of things about being a dungeon master, and one of the things that say if you have like a long-standing campaign, it's a good idea to every once in a while take a break. It's a chance to sit back, and also to encourage other people to take the to sit behind the screen, so to speak, a little bit. And do a little DMing. So it's gonna be awesome. I have an ad for it running during the commercials, and we're gonna be sharing it a lot on our Facebook, social media, Twitter, things like that. So you guys be checking it out. Get really pumped and excited. Share it out there so we can get some people in here. We're also gonna do a giveaway that night. I have 2 things that we're going to give away. I'm going to give away a from Nightshade Creations. We have the Dish of Shame that we're going to be giving away. So those of you that really have trouble rolling your dice and you get nat ones a lot and you want to make sure that you don't roll those dice anymore, this will be an awesome addition to your gaming table. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and include some dice with this, so that way if you roll some bad numbers, you'll have something to put in it right away. Hopefully mine roll good for you, but there's no promises. Because sometimes I don't roll so well myself. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick 5 to 7 minute break to get drinks and things like that, and we will be back shortly. So we will see you guys in just a few. Stay with us. Welcome back, everybody, to Proficiency Bonus. This is Storm King's Thunder, episode 31. Our party has just got done taking out a couple of frost giants that were destroying some of the homes in Fireshear. And now, Diana asked what is bothering Sarvin, the king of the Frozenfar, as she tried to persuade him into opening up a little bit, and he flipped that persuasion back onto her by offering her yet another miniature that he created, that he carved. At some point, we're not sure when, but he's been saving it to give to her at the opportune time, and he felt that this is probably the best time to do so. So Sarvin kind of looks at you, Diana, and looks down to the ground. When I was just a young dragonborn, I lived with my mother and father here in Fireshear. My father was a miner. He worked hard every day of his life. Well, unfortunately, one day, as he was working in the mines, there was a tragic accident. You see, the mines collapsed on top of him. And I never saw him again. My mother and father, we tried to make do. But shortly after, my mother was unfortunately struck down with a disease that took her freedom of movement. She was bedridden. I did what I could to take care of her, but it was hard. And you see, when you live in a place like Fireshear, and you are unable to get out of bed, the rest of the society just deems you worthless. They turn their back on you. You see, Fireshear, we don't have the best medicines here. There's just not the greatest doctors. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. She just kept slipping farther and farther. But no one would help. And then I found that one day, as I was traveling through town, I could see one of the leaders, one of the governing bodies of the town. Her name was Darva. And in hearing the conversation and seeing the exchange of funds from one hand to another. You see, Diana, when people get into positions of authority, they can be easily bought. Just so happens there's a lot of that going around here in Fireshear. And that's why I left. You see, when the goods come into town, the triumvirate, the three leaders of the town, they decide where these materials and things are allocated. They choose where these things go. And you can understand that someone who is looking for the correct care for his mother didn't have the right kind of coin to make sure that our family was taken care of.
Yeah.
Sometimes coin isn't enough.
I am so sorry, Sarvin. I am so sorry.
So I figured maybe I'll make my own way. Because after I lost my mother, there was no reason for me to stay here anymore. So I figure these leaders, they can have whatever they want, right? So that is why I'm king. I decide what's right for me. I make the choices now.
I relate to you a lot more than I thought I did, Sarvin. I am so sorry that happened. Your mother, she passed?
She did. The disease was just too strong, and nobody knew what was slowly killing her. They couldn't figure it out, or maybe they just didn't want to. I don't know.
That should never be the way that things are. Corrupt officials should never be the ones that get to decide who lives, who dies. They should never be the ones restricting someone's access to having family members taken care of. This is ridiculous.
Sometimes, even if you have the coin, it's not enough.
Can I run over and hug Sarvin?
Sure. Ashlyn, just smothers Sarvin with an enormous hug. He kind of gives you, like, the one-armed hug back and kind of pats you on, just because he's not used to... You guys have been with him for a while now, and this is the first time he's really ever shared anything that you guys didn't think was a little bit of a exaggerated story or something. So,
Oh no,
and then he kind of reaches down and picks up the cup that he dropped, and he holds it up, and he looks at it, and he looks back at you, Diana and Ashlyn and Callista, and he points to the crest. See, when you have the money, you have everything you need in Fireshear. And then he points over to the storage unit behind you. You see, this is just extra for them. Extra. This is what...
Let's burn it to the ground!
Can Molfin hear this
No, let's
conversation?
allocate the resources.
Yeah. Molfin,
Okay.
yeah, Molfin, you'd be able to hear. I mean, you guys are kind of all standing around. Harshnag's kind of just like he's standing around, but he's not really saying anything because he doesn't even know this guy. So he's just kind of.
Sarvin, we will right these wrongs. The Temple of Ilmater would never stand for something like this. Never for the rich and the wealthy to just take excess while the poor starve and die of sicknesses that could very well have been cured. It's
Diana.
sacrimonious. It's disgusting.
Diana.
It's terrible. No, I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna write a letter to the Church of Ilmater, and we are gonna right these wrongs.
Death and disease does not discriminate whether you're rich or poor.
I understand that. He didn't have the resources to get
That doesn't
what
mean
he
she
might have
would-
needed.
Wait, what'd you say,
It
Callista?
makes no difference. I said even if he had the money, doesn't mean she would have been saved. It makes no difference. Death does not discriminate. And I get
Death
on my
doesn't
griffin and I fly high.
You fly high. So,
Oh yeah.
there goes the griffin tossing up into the air. Lachlan, are you with the group right now, or are you still like flying around, just like chilling? I think you're muted, Lachlan. I can't hear you.
I still don't know everyone's backstory.
There you
so this is good.
Lachlan?
When I heard Sarvin giving some juicy details, I flew a little bit lower.
Okay. So you're like kind of flying like 20 feet above the group, just like doing circles or something?
Maybe like perched on one of the huts
Yeah.
on the griffin.
Oh, perched on the huts. Okay, yeah. You just watch Callista like take off into the air, seemingly upset.
Let me know if you see any giants. From
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm percepting.
Yeah. You don't really see any coming near Fireshear. For the last that you remember, whenever you were taking your invisible ride, was that there were several of them at Deshara's hovel, and then several more kind of searching up north of the hovel, presumably looking for all of you.
Okay. I just want to make sure like the commotion didn't bring any our way.
And Sarvin kind of looks to Diana, and he says, "You know, she is right to some extent. I don't know if I could ever had the amount of money, or if there's anything that I could have done. I just know that there are other people like me in Fireshear that work hard every day of their life and are only given enough just squeeze by each and every
Would they
day.
want some of this free stuff?
Free stuff? What
yeah,
are
there's
you?
free stuff in this building. We're just gonna take it.
You're just gonna take it? What?
Why not?
Smolton has like a armful of stuff.
Yeah, Molfin's like taking a bunch of stuff out of the shed.
Someone's got a new backpack. He's throwing stuff in it,
Yeah.
and now he's got a dagger out, and he's starting to sort of pry at the lid of one of the kegs of alcohol.
Oh.
He heard somebody yell, "Burn it!"
Oh god.
No.
Callista, as you are flying around, you do notice that you don't see any frost giants, but as you're going through town, you kind of can see some people starting to emerge in different areas, in a lot of these structures that haven't been damaged, parts of the town that haven't been crushed. It looks like they're kind of just looking around, kind of checking to see if the coast is clear. Some of them are walking around kind of assessing some damage. You also see this female dragonborn walking alongside with a dwarf and a human male as they're walking by. The dragonborn looks blue scaled, with this long blue cloak that she's wearing, and she's holding a long staff that has some kind of crescent kind of symbol kind of on the top of it as she's walking around.
I'll go low down to them.
Okay.
I shout, "Look out behind you! There's a frost giant!"
Who are you shouting that
Me?
to?
The people that are starting to emerge.
Okay. Well, you're still with the group right here, right? I mean, this is a little bit farther away. Like, Callista's a little bit away from you guys. So Callista, you're headed towards them, or just kind of flying down closer to get a closer look?
Like I'm gonna like get lower down.
Okay.
And not like right up on them, but like probably like 30 feet away from them.
Okay. You just kind of fly over top of their head?
I want them to see me.
Okay.
Ooh, there's a pagoda.
You there. You guys need to get out of here.
We are busy assessing damages.
I look
Engineering.
around. What else do you need to assess? There's giants everywhere. You need to get out of here.
There's people that need my help. As the Dragonborn kind of looks up at you, and she's talking to you. She's as you get a closer look, she's wearing kind of like this blue and gray robe that has this pattern of these kind of silverish triangles kind of imprinted all over it.
How far away are we from like the main, like the big guy we saw in the town?
It would probably be about maybe a mile or a little less.
Okay. Well, you guys need to regroup outside of town. It's not safe here. Find who you have and go.
Has the threat been eliminated?
We're working on it.
I will try to gather the others. And they start to kind of like walk around. They're trying to grab some of the other people and just kind of seem to be going back and forth, like checking on, looking around for any survivors and things like that as they're moving through.
I'll go back to the group and let them know I found survivors.
Okay, as you're kind of heading back, Molfin, are you doing what you were going to do? Or what? How is this going to go?
Molfin and Ashlyn come out. Molfin takes one look at Sarvin. Sarvin, are you sure there is nothing you seek from this building before we reduce it to cinder?
He kind of looks at you. He looks at the cup that he's still holding in his hand. Looks back at you. Shakes his head no and just throws the cup right at the side of the building and just starts walking away from it.
As Molfin is wont to, one hand on top of the crystal on his staff, other hand reaches out and a firebolt jumps out into the large pile of oil flasks that Ashlyn and Molfin have spent the last couple of minutes piling all around the barrels of alcohol.
Let's bring out a beacon. Sounds like a plan.
So you guys watch as this this structure ignites into flame. Let's see if I can get some fire to use here to put on this this structure. I'm just gonna use let's use this one. It's probably gonna be huge. No, it's all good. Take it and open it up a little bit. Put it on there. There's some fire. It's ignited as Molfin is walking away. Everybody's kind of walking away. Sarvin's just kind of keeping him to himself. He's kind of going through the piles of rubble and like looking for arrows that he shot. He like picks one up and realizes it's broken, throws it over his shoulder, and kind of keeps on walking around looking for more arrows and things.
Oh, there were like quivers in there. Do you want? Oh, oops. Well, never mind.
Molfin tries to find like a board of wood or something and sort of sticks one end in the fire and like tries to pull the other end over towards the giant so it looks like the giant lit the building on fire.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Clever.
Clever,
But
Molfin.
everyone
Clever.
sees you do it.
Yes.
Make a sleight of hand DC 25.
As you're kind of finishing up doing that, Molfin, and you start to walk away, you see an individual, a human individual, emerge from one of these nearby structures, and they look over towards the building and go, "Ah! Ah!" And they start like running over towards it, like not knowing what to do. Like, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" He starts like, I need to put it out," and he starts to like run back and forth and like.
I go, what's your last name?
What's my last name? Oh, that's my storage.
I go over and I try to help, but I kick him in the shins by accident.
Ouch! Ow! What was that for?
Oh, no reason. And then I go back to Sarvin.
So this guy's running around. You see him like he's just like frantically like looking around. He like is trying to find like a bucket or something to put like any kind of water in or something. Like he's just running around. He starts yelling out people's names, and they're just so loud and like streaky that you can't even like tell what names he's yelling out. But all these people start like frantically moving around as this storage has stone sides, so the sides aren't really burning, but the inside and the top is just kind of fully ablaze by now.
Ashlyn's gonna move back here, and as everyone walks by, she's going to... Let's see if she can do this. She's gonna trip every one of them. But not me too.
She's gonna trip who?
Everyone that walks by to try to help with the fire, she's gonna trip them. But look like she did it on accident.
So Ashlyn is just like standing in the midst. She's just watching these people running frantic, and she has her hands like crossed just like this. And every once in a while, she just like puts her foot out a little bit. It's like whoop. It's just enough to be annoying. And with a 22 sleight of hand, like the people just think that they're just like the frantic is causing them to lose their depth perception. They're unable to tell exactly what they're doing.
How many people have come out of their hiding spots? Like from where I saw, like how many people were where I found them, and how many people are now here?
There's probably about, from what you could see, about 25 people, Callista, that
Oh
came
my
out.
God.
And the people over here, there's probably like 7 or 8 people. You guys aren't really technically sure where they're coming from. They're coming from inside their huts, but when you guys were watching the raid, it almost seemed like a ton of people were going into the mines, and a ton of people were like fleeing on foot across the tundra away from the town itself. So it's kind of odd to you, because you didn't see people like running into their huts or anything like that.
Okay. I'm gonna tell all of them to quit screwing around with the fire and get out of here.
Yeah, as Callista approaches, she's kind of shouting out to you guys and shouting out to the she's more to the survivors to get out of here as she comes back to the rest of the group.
There's a larger group back there. Go recruit. Go regroup.
But that's my storage. And he's like running.
Oh, nuts.
And he's running around. He's like,
Is it worth your life?
Maybe go in and find out.
Oh my God. Wow, Ashlyn.
Ashlyn's getting bitter. Would you help me put it out? Would you help me?
No. I don't have water.
Not, and he starts to book it. He just starts to run. You can see he's grabbing like a couple wooden buckets that he's found, kind of like sitting next to the structures. A couple other people go with him, and they run. They look like they're running towards the shore, the ocean, as they're taking off with these buckets.
Can't save those that don't want help. So.
And the fire continues to grow. as it gets bigger.
Shall we make our way over to where the horns are blowing and deal with the other?
Yes, exactly what I'm
Sure.
thinking. Let them deal with whatever they want to deal with. I warn them, if they don't want to listen, it's their funeral.
Oh.
All right.
I tell Sarvin I kicked a couple of them in the shins for him.
Thank you, Ashlyn. I appreciate your friendship.
I appreciate your friendship.
I'm rummaging in my pack. Like, I know that there's a quill here somewhere. I'm gonna write that letter.
Well, how far away is Dashara's location from here?
Tashara's?
Well, is that not where the horn is being blown from?
No, I thought we wanted to go into the town where the big guy was, the leader.
I thought this was the town.
Oh, I
Clearly
thought
we are lost.
I thought the leader was at Dashara's with the
With the
zombie
zombie.
peel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's at Tashara's? I thought he was like in the center of town.
No, he's with at Dashara's residence with 3 other frost giants and the zombie orange peel tied to one of the horse posts.
Can I say that this was a short rest and roll a hit die?
Yes, this is a short rest. Yeah, you guys can.
Oh, that sucked.
Spell recovery.
Oh.
So yeah, you guys can use this as a
Okay.
short rest opportunity.
That's like a mile away, right? Like the big guy's like a mile away from us.
Yeah, probably roughly a mile.
Okay.
And then I'll use one more.
Guys, I think another 10 minutes. I can do a prayer of healing, I can select like a bunch of us and heal.
I think I'm the
think
only
it's
one in Kentucky.
It's
There we
it takes
go.
10 minutes to do it.
That's
It
okay.
heals 2d8. It's
I'm
just
good.
that it's my last 2nd level spell.
Yeah, I'm
so
Don't waste it.
I'm
Don't
good
waste
now.
it. No.
okay.
You should really heal Kentucky.
Kentucky's over there. He's looking at pieces of his heavy crossbow.
Oh, we should have probably gotten him.
He throws it down. He's like, first my banjo, and now this. Ugh.
Oh.
Can I toss him the light crossbow? Can he use that?
Yeah, he could use it.
I'll give him the light crossbow.
Good.
It will suffice, I guess. Thank you.
Stay alive.
I'll try my best as he wipes more blood away from his bleeding nose.
Is Kentucky going on horseback or?
Yeah, he kind of gets back up on his horse.
Okay, I'll go. I'll tug on Harshnag's arm and see if he'll let me back up.
Of course, my dear.
Does he need bolts or does he got ammo still?
He still has some ammunition.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. No. You guys.
Harshnag, will you permit an old man to join the two of you this time, and not leave me behind?
He kind of looks down at you awkwardly, Molfin. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Uncle Muffin, don't cast darkness this time. I can't.
And you already used your nat 20.
I would use this for a persuasion roll.
Oh.
You see, I'm just worried about you. I feel that it would be better for you to move on your own terms. I'm afraid that some of my actions might put you in a situation that you would not like. And I don't know what it is that you do, but last time I was face to face with a giant ready to rip and tear into her with my great axe, and all of a sudden I went blind.
Well, you see, this is what happens when you are leaving giants to throw boulders at me. So I must blind the giant to prevent it from happening. You just happen to fall in the radius of said abilities. If I was next to you, I would not blind myself, so it would not happen.
But the boulder hit me, Uncle Muffin.
He starts to kind of stroke his beard with one hand, and he's kind of like, it looks like he's like thinking. He's like, you remind me of one of my old companions. I'm sorry. I've got Ashlyn here, and he kind of reaches up and kind of pets Ashlyn's head a couple times. We seem to work well together, and he starts to just walk away from you, Molfin.
Molfin walks away muttering, in giant, not quite quietly.
Okay.
Well, I hope you don't go blind again.
As he's walking.
That's so nice. Oh, I don't know giant.
As he's walking away, you hear him kind of utter in giant under his breath, I hope the old man doesn't break a hip. As he kind of like stomps away. And
Children these days. Really?
So Harshnag's kind of like looking around and kind of just, and Deshara's kind of flying around on Screecher, and she's looking at you guys. So is this the plan? Are we going to take the fight back to the hovel in the stables?
Yes.
Everyone gather around, gather close.
All right, so everybody's kind of huddling up.
Yep.
Molfin will collect his cat and have him sort of up on his shoulder and see if he can manage this time to get a ride on one of the griffins.
Okay.
You can come on mine if you want.
All right. Yeah,
Molfin.
I suppose it should be safe.
All right. So Molfin climbs aboard Malik with Callista.
I do pass without a trace on us as we head back.
Head back towards the top, huh? All right.
Yep.
Ashlyn is riding on the shoulder of Harshnag.
For for this upcoming battle that Diana knows we're gonna have, I would like to ready fairy fire as a reaction. So as soon as I come into sight, I can just woo.
Okay.
Fairy fire.
Let's since you guys got passed without a trace, why don't everybody go ahead and make a stealth check if you guys are trying to like sneak up on these giants.
Wow.
So we can see.
I don't think I can.
we can see-
sneak on Harshnag.
Yeah, it'd probably be Harshnag's
Oh.
stealth check.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and make a stealth for Harshnag.
Wow.
I'm sure it's probably not a very good roll for Harshnag. We'll see.
Yeah.
So 18 and 12 for us. Christy, not bad. Hey, 24 for him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good.
Let me see here. There we
You know,
go.
Lachlan hasn't been here all night. I'd love to know where he was, you know?
Yeah, he's.
Where's
Alright.
Lachlan?
A shadow.
Quietly creeping in the corner.
So, we've got 2 good rolls and 3 on the bad.
Hey,
So-
mine's an 18. That's not that bad.
My 12 is above average.
15.
Oh yeah, never mind. You guys had the pass without a trace on. You guys are okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that for a reason. 'cause I
Yeah,
was
you guys are
expecting
okay.
that one
You just
on
expect
something
you
that-
say yeah, it ended up being yours, right? Yeah, that's it. That's
I can't believe that Lachlan rolled a 39. Oh my god.
He's-
on.
He's just always gone. He's just never there.
No one knows where Lachlan is.
That would be 40. He could feasibly have 40 points of vanishing if he had rolled a nat 20.
Nat 20.
That's
All right.
insane. Plus, that's insane.
Okay, I'm gonna grab everybody's tokens. I'm gonna have to move them over to a new map really quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab these and move them over, and then I'll move you guys over as you guys are approaching Deshara's.
I can't wait until we're so ridiculously high leveled and overpowered that Lachlan can just roll like a 50 on like a stealth roll.
We never see him again.
Never.
Never, he gone. He
Yeah.
will be back in a month. A complete new identity. He's gonna go fake his death and move to Cuba.
Probably.
That's how stealthy he is.
Change his name to Moby.
Pretty much.
Okay,
Come back
think
with
he'll
a
be much
black
higher.
black.
I'm gonna need you guys to help me kind of assemble where you are as we approach. I'm gonna go ahead and move you guys over to the new map so you guys can see what's going on. So it should load in a minute. You guys will have to go to the bottom of the map to see where you guys your
Okay.
tokens are.
Okay.
And as you guys are sneaking, you can see on the other side of these
Zombie orange.
these you can see that there is a frost giant kind of alert, kind of like looking out towards the forest here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a perception check on this frost giant to see if it sees you down in the corner. And then you guys can see Deshara's hovel is this small circular hut, but beside it you can see the stables. This is the more rectangular building. And in front of it you can see the larger frost giant that has a little better, kind of looks like white dragon hide kind of armor. And on his shoulder sits that giant eagle hawk looking thing that he was sending out. I'm not sure if Jolin would have saw his
Ooh.
Ooh boy.
orange peel. I might make a perception check to see if he realizes. But if you guys can kind of assemble your tokens, is everybody's token on there?
Yeah.
Reckon.
Okay, you guys can kind of assemble them down
What-
here and more at the bottom.
Where are we coming?
Coming
okay,
from
we're
that,
down
coming
over
from
here.
the down from the bottom corner there.
Okay.
If you guys want to help me out with assembling all these tokens, because you guys got like a massive army coming up here.
Oops.
I'm just gonna put Harshnag right there with Ashlyn.
Oh, I can drag horses. I can't drag people.
Okay, let me go ahead and drag those guys, and we'll get those guys set in. as they're kind of making their way. I'll say Sarvin and Jolin are back here. That'll give you... Oh, there's Zombo. I gotta grab Zombo. Don't stand out there in the middle of the field, Zombo. It's not a good idea.
Silly Zombo.
Silly Zombo. What
I
are you
love
doing?
that name, Zombo. It's
Zombo.
begging
Zombo.
vibe.
Zombo.
Like you are begging for Molphin to kill you and reanimate you.
Yeah.
Zombo.
I'm not the
Zombie
crazy
Zombo.
psycho one that murders Zentarum. That's Callista.
Zombie
Thank
Zombo.
you. I was gonna say I have not done that yet.
not yet.
Not yet. We'll see how far Kentucky goes.
Excellent. For those of you joining in with our adventure tonight, thank you guys so much for watching. This is episode 31 of Storm King's Thunder right here at Proficiency Bonus. If you haven't got a chance to hit that follow button, go ahead and click that so that way you guys can know when we stream live each and every week. As right now our party is heading towards Deshara's residence that has been kind of seems like it's a miniature frost giant base camp as of right now. And they are holding what they believe to be a hostage, which is the reanimated corpse of their little halfling friend, Jolin Orangepeel, who is traveling with the adventuring party. Let's see if this frost giant realizes that you're coming as you guys are trying to sneak up. Let's see how good the pass without a trace works out for you guys. I think the lowest number was a 12.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't seem that he has noticed you guys. So what I'm going to allow you guys to do is, since you guys are stealthily coming up, you guys will get a surprise round. Okay, as you guys are stealthily making your way up. And then we will roll initiative after the surprise round.
So
Why don't we go ahead? Let's roll initiative first, so that way we can go in the order of your initiatives for surprise round.
okay,
And,
'cause
let me put a turn order on there. And you
I was
guys,
holding an action for the big guy. Would we still be able to sneak up on him, or is it just this one? And if we sneak up and attack this one, is it going to alert the other ones?
if you get in range of this one, but it's basically as soon as you guys come out of this foliage down here at the bottom, these snow-covered trees, this one is surely going to see you guys as it's looking around.
All right.
And you guys are just
That's
kind of like
perfect.
flying just probably above the trees, or you guys have your griffins on the ground. How are you guys approaching?
I'm about 30
Instead,
feet above everybody.
Okay.
I mean, I did say that I readied an action. Can I retcon which action it was and make it not fairy fire, since that's useless?
Well,
now?
for a surprise round, you can pretty much do. You have basically a free turn. To get started.
I was not
on this.
understanding things.
Yeah.
First time player.
So, you guys are making your way up. Let's see if
I just didn't want to do something that needed stealth and then have someone do something else that like ruined stealth. I don't know.
Sorry.
I just
yeah.
needed to know whatever else I'm doing.
Yeah, basically what's happening here is we're going to go through everybody. You guys, pretty much everybody gets a surprise round for this first go.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and add Sarvin to the
Oh my
initiative.
God.
And I'm just going to say Jolin. Oh, goodness, Sarvin. Nice.
Holy wow.
Good job.
Where's Kentucky at? Where is he at? There he is. Let's go ahead and add him and his crew. Not bad. Not bad. All right. And Deshara. There she is. We'll go ahead and add her as well. And not so bad.
You don't have Harshnag on there yet.
Don't have Harshnag on there. That's right. Let's go ahead and add him too. And I'm just going to add the other... these other guys too. Just so that way I don't have to worry about it next time. I'll just add them to the tracker. That way they'll already be done. And we'll have them in the order. Nice. Yeah.
Noise.
Wow,
I'm
I'm liking these rolls.
do me a favor, Matthew.
Don't
Click on Zombie Orange Peel and go ahead and add him to the initiative tracker for the
He
future.
is already,
Yeah.
Is he
he's
already
already
on
there.
He's already on there. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, he's above Sarvin.
Nice.
Go, zombie.
He's tied up and restrained right now, but we'll have to see what happens. All right. So Sarvin, probably just juiced from all this stuff that's been happening recently, and this just change that has occurred. Ultimately, you guys start to hear some of his story and what brought him to this point. It's kind of quietly going through the woods on the back of this riding horse. Slips off of the riding horse, kind of crawls in between these two trees a little bit, kind of just sneaks up there, and fires 2 arrows at this this frost giant. So here comes 2 coming flying right at the frost giant. So here comes 2 longbow shots as they go flying through the air. And they have advantage because we're taken by surprise. So both of those will
nice.
strike.
Yeah.
As 14 points of piercing damage as both those arrows go sinking, beating the armor. And you can see that this frost giant already has a lot of arrows like stuck in his shoulders. This might have been that frost giant that was climbing up and Ashlyn was kind of firing down from before. So this one already seems to have some damage done to him. As these 2 arrows sink in. And now, as those arrows fly, like, he starts to look surprised as we now go to... Who rolled initiative for Devaney?
Should that have been Zombo?
I don't know. That might have been me. I think I accidentally clicked Devaney and then meant to click Diana.
It's all right. Just remember that is you at 17.
Okay. Their names both have E's in them.
Yeah.
I'm going to, as a bonus action, go to wherever Ashlyn is and grab her shoulder and say, I know that your health is not at its best right now. There's not really much more than... How far away is she?
She's about 55 feet away and 20 feet up. Because she's on top of Harshnag's shoulder.
I'm good because I'm on a griffin.
Yeah, you are on the griffin. Yep.
And I'll be like, I know that your health is kind of weak right now, so here's a little thing that's gonna help you along and fortify you so you're not as easy to hit.
Thanks, friend.
Nice. Look at that.
No problem, bestie. And I think that took all of my movement. If Pythagorean theorem, like 80 and then like 55 and then 20, I don't know.
We could say it. We could
But the
say yes.
trajectory?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Or
So
I'll say you have 20 feet of movement left, Diana. Does that work?
What happened?
Mulfin's trying to do the math for us. 6,400. Nice. I like that. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it.
Okay. And I'll just fly up and closer to the enemy.
Okay, go ahead and you can move you and Devaney's token
yeah.
to where you want to be, and
Okay. I'm sorry, the map is so big and I'm just so
and
tiny.
you still have an action because Shield of Faith was a bonus action.
It was indeed. I don't know.
It's concentration though.
Yes.
For up to 10
So
minutes.
I'm gonna move to about 20 feet. Is this about 20 feet right here? Above her. Above Ashlyn.
Okay.
And I don't know if I have any other actions that are within range. I might. Let me see. Just light resistance and sacred flame. I'll cast resistance on myself. No, wait, that's concentration. Never mind.
Yeah,
We
it's
learned that
concentration.
already.
And is Shield of Faith is Shield of Faith is a first level spell, so I think all you can do is a cantrip at this point. right?
Yes.
Is that the way that works? Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I'll cast like thaumaturgy, so I'm more intimidating.
All right. How are you going to make yourself more intimidating? What are you going to do?
I'm gonna have like this booming voice, and I want there to. Is there like a way to like just cast like move the clouds or something? So there's just like a beam of light, and it's like boom, there's Diana. Like
Sure.
freaking
Absolutely. Yes.
angel
That
on a
happens.
griffin, and it's terrifying. And they're like, "Whoa, can't mess with her." So I just want to have like a big booming voice and glowing eyes, and for just the wind and the lighting to be perfection.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
That's my.
It's almost like you're backlit as the clouds and the fog start to move away from you, and
Yes!
you've got this silhouette of you kind of just coming, and these wings of this griffin like outstretched, almost in slow motion as it's coming out from the tree line.
Like in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Thor Ragnarok, Valkyrie on her
That's it.
Pegasus. That's exactly what that is.
That's it. So
That's
that
amazing.
that brings us to Kentucky and his band. They are all thinking that their best option here is to maybe get down off the horses and kind of take cover behind some of these trees. So they're going to use the trees to their advantage, and they're all going to kind of get down from horses and start moving around these trees to try to get a good vantage point to fire their crossbows. As they all, Zombo's gonna run up here, and there's gonna be a bunch of crossbow bolts coming at this guy. So
I just want to say a quick shout out to Venom Rage. Thanks for stopping in and joining by, and welcome to the math class. As we have learned, the hypotenuse is approximately 82.5 feet. Granted, it's a little off. It's 82.5 and 82.42, so it's somewhere in that ballpark, though.
there we go. Hey, awesome.
I got it between 0.08, so I'll take it.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, here comes 6 crossbow bolts coming flying at him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As these all go flying out from the Zentarum.
Four nat
fails.
ones.
Oh man, these guys!
Damn!
Seriously, who's paying these guys? Seriously,
Not me.
this is terrible. Yeah, that miss. Technically, they had advantage, so
Okay.
still miss, hit, miss.
One hit.
1 out of all 5 of those crossbow bolts from inside the tree line makes its purchase, beating the armor of the frost giant.
Please tell me it was Zombo.
It would be the 1, 2, 3rd one. So no, it wasn't Zombo this time. It was actually Kentucky. Was the one who hit.
Good job, Kentucky.
So Kentucky, kind of making up for that fiasco from last time, taking the boulder to the face. This time is able to strike the frost giant. That brings us to the Lynx.
Lynx is just going to hang out with me and Callista.
Okay, excellent. And Callista, that brings us to you.
Okay. I'm gonna move here.
Swoop down and throw the Lynx on top of the frost giant.
Don't give Callista any ideas.
For my action, I am aiming for the big guy, the one with the. I'm assuming that's a dire wolf beside him.
That is the I had to use a vulture token, but it's a giant eagle.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. I couldn't find a good giant eagle token in time.
Well, I'm doing this one. I'm doing Erupting Earth on him.
Oh boy. All right, so DC 15 dexterity save.
What's the distance from us?
He's about 105 feet, right?
Yeah.
Right, I just measured.
Damn it.
So
No, he's not. He's within range. He fails his... I'm burning a portent.
you're burning your
He's gonna
portent?
he's going to roll a 4.
He rolls the 4. So he's gonna
He's
take.
within 100 feet.
So what was the radius of this again, Callista? Was it like a 20-foot?
Yeah, it's like a cube. Let me just double check it.
Actually, it doesn't even say it's a 100-foot
20-foot.
range. It's just someone I can see.
20-foot cube.
20-foot cube? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna get both of those guys in there. So I'm gonna make a save for the eagle.
And it's gonna be the earthbending thing again. The two pillars just smashing at them.
Smashing. So these pillars just come up from the earth. Some ice and snow kind of fall from the tundra around it, just crash and smash into the giant. Let's see if I've got my my giant bird here. I think the I'm just gonna use I'll use this one. And let's see if he makes. No, you know what? I'll look it up in the. Look it up, make sure it's correct. I think they're close to a giant vulture's stats, but I'm gonna double check. That was a dexterity save.
Yep.
So it's a +3 for.
Ooh.
So he takes half.
So he'll take the eagle takes half damage as these pillars of earth are just kind of like pounding and punching into. That was half of a 19. Takes 10 damage, and he takes 19 damage as he's being slammed in with these pillars. And that's all rough terrain now, is that correct?
Yeah, that
Okay.
20-foot cube is rain.
The 20-foot cube is rough terrain, so let's see if I can... Is it about... Is that about 20 feet?
I can't see anything.
You don't see the... Is there an orange...
Oh, there.
Oh,
Oh,
there
yeah,
we go.
that's right.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That should be about.
So we'll put that there, so that way we remember that that's... Because I always forget that when you did that, that was difficult terrain last time, so I wanted to try to put something
Yeah.
there to remember. Excellent.
And as a bonus action, can I drink the potion of invulnerability? Or do I have to use an action for that?
Usually, yeah, you have to use an action to drink the potion itself.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you can see that your pillars of earth have definitely slammed into it. You can see that some of the pillars are of crumbling rock are falling from it as it slams into the giant. And that brings us to Ashlyn, who is currently still on the shoulder of Harshnag.
Can I hold my turn until after Harshnag goes?
You can, sure,
Okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
because
I'm gonna
Harshnag
hold-
goes right now. So he is going to he's going to kind of move up towards... He can get right to about there. He's just kind of running out of the tree line. And he's just going to go ahead and use his dash to get right up in this guy's face. So
Okay.
we'll default back to your turn, Ashlyn.
Okay, then I'll just quarterstaff him twice. Quarterstaff.
All right. So as Ashlyn's kind of leaning over the shoulder, slamming into with two great impacts with the quarterstaff. Wham! Wham! Swinging back around. You hit both times, Ashlyn.
Cool.
Slamming into the face of this giant. And you can get a better look at him as you get closer. And he kind of looks right at you, Ashlyn. And there's this look like he recognizes you.
Haha. Sucker.
Oh, so you can, yeah, it does. As you turn around and you kick him with a roundhouse as you
Yeah.
catches and hit him right in the side of the cheek with a roundhouse kick. Anything else you'd like to do, Ashlyn?
Laugh in his face. There's more where that came from.
You hear him, he kind of like looks at you and he says something in giant. He's like, and Mulfin and Diana, you can hear some giant being spoken. And Mulfin, you're like, wow, I think he just called her a female dog.
Oh.
So, so that's what he said in giant to you. And that brings us up to Mulfin for your surprise turn.
Wolfen, being as he is, riding with Callista, is going to follow suit with her. And point at the oversized chicken. Again, running the hand over the crystal on the top of the staff, reach out, and fling a bolt of fire straight towards our little friend over there.
All right. So this bolt of flame goes flying across the frozen tundra.
Ooh, 16.
Let's see if that 16 is going to hit. I believe it will. Yes, it makes contact with the feathers as they start to ignite with a little bit of fire for 11 points of fire damage. You can see, Mulfin, from that distance that you have torched this bird quite a great deal, and a lot of its feathers are now missing. And you can see that it's kind of flapping its wings and squawking a little bit as it's kind of leaning back on the shoulder of this great frost giant, who's now standing in the midst of all these like bumpy, like rocky pillars and things from what Callista had done. Anything else you'd be doing, Mulfin?
Mulfin will look real quickly over at Callista. Are you planning on getting close to this one?
Closer. I'm gonna jump down and you'll have free reign over Malik. But I'm gonna get closer, yes.
How close?
Probably 60 feet ahead.
Okay, no, that is not close enough for my thought then.
Or how close do you want me to go? I can go 80.
Well, no, I was saying if you were going to be close, I could give you a little something to clear your throat with.
Well, I won't complain.
Be a dear then.
Okay.
And with that, Mulfin will, sort of tap her on the side and.
Nice. What are you granting her with the ability to do?
We will go with. Mulfin will give her lightning, given how much she enjoyed it the last time.
Yeah, you've got this it feels like static electricity being built up in the back of your neck, Callista.
This is gonna be so epic.
And it's almost like it's kind of a weird sensation, Callista, and you notice that even under your hood you can feel like your hair is starting to rise up like static electricity would do. It's causing like your hair to kind of get a little bit sporadic, like Albert Einstein-ish. Awesome.
Is the hood up right now, Callista, or is it down?
It was up, but I can make it go down.
It's up, and it's up, but it's like you can feel your hair trying to like take it off of it as you feel all this like electricity surging through you.
Just picturing Callista with the gnomish hair slowly starting to.
There we go.
Deshara herself is going to take a shot at the other giant with her heavy crossbow, as she just takes a shot really quick to see if she can make contact. And unfortunately, the way the giant is standing so closely to Ashlyn and kind of swaying back and forth, Ashlyn has kind of like toppled him a little bit, and the crossbow bolt goes flying up over his head, unable to make contact. And that brings us to Lachlan, who's got his surprise round.
Yep, I'm gonna fire at that bird that's burning.
Okay, the burning bird. As you're looking through Gimble's spyglass that's attached, you can see that half of the bird's like feathers from his face are completely singed off, But that side also, you can see that his eye is closed, and it almost looks like it's been stitched shut. Like it's been completely like stitched on that side. And as you take the shot, unfortunately, the arrow again, as you watch it, it goes flying up over top of the bird's head, and you're just kind of scratching your head.
Yeah, I sort of like shake the crossbow. I'm like, Gimbal, what are you doing to me, man? What are you doing?
All right.
And then that's end turn.
Okay, so we got those two, the guy. Wow, they did terrible in their initiative rolls. Zombie orange peel.
He's currently restrained, so
Yeah, he's restrained and just trying to bite at whatever is near him right now. So he's just looking over. Yeah.
He's looking over that zombie just following his last task. Bite the giants.
Yeah, he's looking over here towards the frost giant with the eagle on his shoulder, and he's just like chomping his teeth, like just looking towards him. And that brings us to the top of the round, which means Sarvin gets to go first. He's going to stay hunkered down behind this tree, trying to have the coverage, and he's going to go ahead and fire 2 shots again at the frost giant. So as he pulls back the bow, he lets loose these 2 longbow attacks as these arrows go flying towards the frost giant. And unfortunately, this time it's not with advantage because he knows that you guys are there now. This is not a surprise round. The first one misses, and unfortunately, both of these are going to fly wide of the target. The second one does hit the frost giant on the shoulder, but in an armored part, and it kind of bounces and deflects off, and the arrow breaks. And he kind of you hear him start to just kind of get frustrated a little bit as he's taking out some more arrows. Next is going to be Diana.
It must be the wind.
It's got to be Lachlan.
I'm going to move forward about 10 feet, I think, so that I'm a little bit closer. The range on this is 60 feet. I just wanted to make doubly sure that I was within range.
Okay.
And fire a sacred flame at the giant.
Okay. DC 15.
If I could.
Yeah. Absolutely. So as you start casting your spell and reciting your incantations, he's going to try to make a save to see if he can dodge on it. And he fails! And the
sacred flame finally does damage!
And the giant is consumed by a radiant flame as it just kind of consumes the giant. You can hear him kind of hollow out in pain as he's just kind of getting consumed by this white and gold flame. Nice, Diana. You hit with your sacred flame.
It's because I went off on a tangent about charity, and Omater was like, yes. That's
He's
what you're supposed to do.
In another plane, Ilmater is just like, oh, it's about time.
And then anything, she'll want to murder things in a few minutes.
Excellent. So you still have a bunch of movement left if you'd like to use it, Diana.
I don't know if I want to move toward the big bad until we deal with this other little bad. So I'm gonna stay here.
Okay. Excellent.
No, wait. I'm gonna move back a little bit.
Okay.
So that way he can't hit me.
All right, so quickly you pull back the reins of Devonay after you cast your spell, and Devonay's kind of like fluttering kind of backwards as you guys kind of backtrack to where you were. And
now I'm done.
Okay, that brings us to Kentucky and the rest of the Zentrum. So we've got 6 more crossbow bolts coming flying at the same frost giant as these guys are kind of dead set on taking this guy out. So here comes a heavy crossbow, a heavy crossbow, a heavy crossbow, a heavy crossbow, heavy crossbow, and one last heavy crossbow. Did they do any better this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Miss, miss,
Slightly.
miss. 1 hit.
2 hit should.
2 hits.
Their armor class is 15.
No, the
18
last
and a
one.
20,
I see a 20.
and an 18 at the bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that 18. That's right. Yeah, 2 hits. So that would be Ferris and Fleetwood make contact. Where as they're firing out, and they kind of like duck behind the trees as soon as they're done, and they start reloading their crossbows to get ready. So that's 2 and 9. So 11 points of damage taken from that giant. That Ashlyn, you can see that giant is not looking in good shape. He's just like our Twitch chat has mentioned, basically a pin cushion of arrows and now bruises and bumps on the face as you were slamming into it with the quarterstaff and fists and roundhouse foot to the face. The Lynx is still in the initiative order. Is he kind of just hanging out, Molfin, or you can go ahead? I think you're muted there, Molfin.
Yep.
There you go.
Molfin's going to send the Lynx and have it sort of curl up on Callista's shoulder
Okay.
and go with her if she's leaving.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It'd be interesting. She beast shapes.
Because
Have
I am.
a beast shape with a familiar on its back. That's gonna be awesome.
That is cool.
Okay.
All right, so we.
My familiar needs its own mount. What can I say?
Nice. Now we go to Callista's turn. What would you like to do, Callista?
I'm moving over here
All right, moving over here.
and using my action to take that potion.
Okay. So Callista pops the cork of this bluish bottle with this irony kind of smell just resonating out of it, and she just starts to chug it down. Not the greatest taste in the world, Callista. It's a thick potion that you're taking down, but you think that you feel a lot better as you drink it. You feel powerful and able to withstand a lot of punishment.
Okay. I'm gonna bonus action. If I like only move 75 feet, could I use my action to jump, like my bonus action to B-shape jump down?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna B-shape jump down since I'm not very high in the air anyway.
Okay. How high in the air were you?
I think I was like 25 feet, 30
Good.
feet tops, because
Okay.
I was needed for the pass without a trace. I wasn't very high up at all.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I B-shape.
Into the saber-tooth tiger. What I'm going to do with your token is I'm just going to put your Callista token on the GM layer for right now.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
when this form goes off, I'll just put you back on the token layer.
Okay.
2 kitties.
Just remember where you were in the initiative, because when you're on the GM layer, you don't show up.
Yeah, I got
Right.
it. Shows up on mine, so
Oh, okay.
Okay.
yeah, I still got it here.
That
It
was
just
13. I got it.
it just probably doesn't show up on yours. Yeah. All right. Anything else you'd be doing, Callista? As now you are a saber-tooth tiger with a lynx on your shoulders.
I'm just gonna growl at the big guy.
All right. All right.
And here in your ear.
Yeah, double cats. Cats for the win.
It starts hissing. Yeah, exactly.
I hear you and I try to emulate you and I go, meow. I have the big giant in front of me. It doesn't work.
and Ashlyn, as you're meowing, it becomes your turn.
Okay. Quarterstaff to the face. Quarterstaff to the face. Oh, that one doesn't.
Ouch! The first one definitely hits, and he is able to kind of quickly move his face back from the second one. Go ahead and you can roll your damage for the first attack as you slam into the side of his face.
And then I'm gonna martial arts for my bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, that's not gonna hit.
Oh,
Okay.
and he's able to dodge that one as well. Kind of ducks under as you try to make another swift kick, as you enjoy kicking giants in the face.
I do. Bummer.
So that brings us to Harshnag.
Okay.
Harshnag, as he's seeing him duck, and it almost looks like this frost giant is going to reach out to try to grab you off of Harshnag, and Harshnag takes his great axe back and just goes to slice at his arm as it's reaching out towards you, and then he's going to take 2 swings with this great axe of his. There's Harshnag's character sheet. And he's going to go with 2 attacks
Yes.
as he's
Yeah.
swiping across the
Oh,
giant. Oh.
Oh.
Yes.
And as you watch, his first attack actually takes the arm right off the frost giant. Right above the elbow. Takes it off. And then his backhand shot just slices, and you can see the flesh of this giant just separate as it just cuts through like a knife through butter. And the giant falls to its knees and then face plants right onto the ground in front of you.
I spit on it. From like 25 feet above, I go.
Nice. That is going to bring us to... Well, actually, Harshnag's going to go ahead and move.
Okay.
And he's going to move towards... He's going to start heading towards the guy up here. And he can get almost level with where Callista is. So he gets to about right here and takes Ashlyn with him. And that brings us to Molfin.
So, how has Melik responded to this saber tooth jumping off of its back and Molfin being left there?
Go ahead and make an animal handling check, Molfin. And I want you to make it with disadvantage because you skipped all the training.
You did.
Your movement has to be directly as far away from the saber-toothed tiger as you can. So
Okay,
basically, Melik is frightened right now of the saber-toothed tiger.
Now, is Melik moving now, even though I know Melik moved on?
What I'll do is I'll let you act first. You can do your action first, but the movement has to be a full movement of the griffin away from the saber-toothed tiger.
And how high up off the ground are we?
You're about 30 feet.
Molfin is going to fire off again, same deal, rubbing the crystal and reaching an arm out, firing off another firebolt off at that oversized chicken. And as he feels the griffin starting to go, is just going to jump for the ground.
Okay. So, yeah.
And that 11.
The firebolt, unfortunately, as you let it loose, you can feel as your hand reaches out to let the fire loose, you feel the fear in Melik start to just take over, and the wings kind of just start flapping crazily, and the firebolt just goes sailing wide as you prepare to leap off of Melik. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw for me just to see how you land, Molfin.
Not horrible at those.
Ooh, nice.
All right. So you land on your feet, but it hurts. It just the pain all the way through your legs. Go ahead and roll 3d6 for me, Molfin.
Oh, the arthritis is flaring up.
Oh, yeah. That sends some pain all the way up your back. Yeah, through the knees and up your back. 12 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the icy earth below. And you can see that Melik, if you want to go ahead and move Melik, you can, Molfin, for me, as he is just flapping away from the situation. As all of a sudden, his faithful rider is no more, and now there is this terrible, terrible creature that jumped off, has landed below him.
Actually, I'm assuming Melik would probably be moving directly away and towards Screecher.
Yes, that would probably be a good assumption, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so if I end up right about down here then.
He would probably hide behind the alpha.
Yeah.
All right, so now we've got Ukras, who is way up here.
Oh, okay. Ukras starts to run towards Molfin. What does Ukras look like? Let me look at my description that I wrote for him. I put it on
Molfin has no idea. He's Oh, should not have done that. That was not.
Okay, this frost giant as he's approaching, yeah, he's kind of like charging up towards you. It looks like he's reaching behind like his belt area on his kind of like a belt pack. There's a pouch like that's back behind there. He has these large white sideburns that roll into a mustache. He has very spiky hair like Sonic the Hedgehog, and he appears to be a bit older than the rest of the giants. He looks like he has a little bit more wrinkles appear to be showing on his forehead, and kind of like the crow's feet along the sides of his eyes. Looks like he's aged. He looks a little bit shorter than the rest too. But he pulls out one of those weighted nets, and he throws one of those nets at Molfin. And let's see what happens. I think that's an attack roll for them. Here we go, Molfin. A weighted net. Yeah, it's an attack roll.
Oh.
An 18.
Mm-hmm. That'll hit.
All right, so all of a sudden, this large net with thick ropes and these rocks attached to the corners, like just expands and slams down on top of Molfin. And now, Molfin, you are currently restrained under this net as he is approaching, and that will end his turn. Deshara is going to take Screecher, Quinn, and Gizzard, and, Malik already had his movement. And she's going to start flying towards... I guess she's going to fly up here kind of by where Harshnag is. And she's just going to go ahead and take a shot at this frost giant over here. It's kind of standing in front of her home. So let's see how this works out. As she takes a shot with a heavy crossbow. Here it comes. And she will unfortunately miss yet again as this shot deflects off of the giant's armor. And we go to Rebrog as he's looking at what's going on. He's going to start to make his way here. He's going to go to here, and he's going to throw a rock at Deshara.
Ooh, they hurt.
Yeah.
Rocks hurt. So the frost giant hurls this large boulder towards Deshara.
Yeah.
And that will miss as the rock goes flying. Hey, thank you so much for the follow.
Yeah.
The name was a little bit small on my screen, so I missed it. I'm sorry. But thank you so much for jumping on board and joining the adventure. Welcome aboard.
That would be Venom Rage.
All right, Venom Rage.
Yeah,
Thank
Venom
you.
Rage.
Appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. All right, so that boulder, Deshara sees it coming. She's able to pull up, and Screecher flies out of the way as the boulder kind of sails down, slams into the ground near Harshnag, and rolls back behind his legs. That brings us to Lachlan.
All right, who netted Molfin? Is it the leftmost giant?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I'll use my my movement and my cunning action to kind of get up where Molfin is in a net.
Okay.
I'll take a moment to kind of like laugh at him, like Gramps, you. Yeah. Looking like
This is
you're,
not rubbing my knees and back.
And then I'll go ahead and attack the giant there.
Okay. You attacking Ukras?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will definitely strike as you're looking through the
Nice.
spyglass. Yeah, go ahead and
There's
give yourself...
there's Lachlan.
You had the sneak attack as well on that one because of the advantage on the roll, right? You using the scope? Is that the way it works?
Oh, I'm close. Oh, that's right. I'm
Yep.
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're within
Good.
range of the scope. So, yeah. Nice. So yeah, you definitely hit him this time. You can see that he kind of shifts back a little bit as he's looking down at his shoulder, sees this crossbow bolt sticking out of his shoulder, and can just see that he's looking at you. This one doesn't look like he looks a little bit different in the sense that he's just a lot older. He looks like he's a little bit more experienced though. So he looks like he's kind of shocked by that impact that you made on him. Anything else you'd like to do, Lachlan?
I'll just kind of like wave my hands and distract him a little so that, maybe hopefully he draws attention
Make
away
a
from
bunny
him.
or something.
There you go.
It's bunny food.
Okay.
Hop through the forest.
That brings us to the giant eagle. Eye socket.
Is it Hunan or Mugen? That's all I want to know. Hugan or Moonin, I mean.
Hugan or Moonin. So this
Ravens of Grimnir.
yeah. The you know what? The eagle flies and is going to come towards Callista and kind of swoop and swoop down at Callista using half its movement to get there, and is going to make a beak and a talon attack against the saber-toothed tiger. So this beak is +5 to hit. So here comes the beak attack as it comes to try to
Just
pierce
hits.
it. Just hits, and the talons are the same, +5. So that's definitely going to
Both
hit.
hit.
So the beak does 1d6 + 3. So as the beak pierces into the saber-toothed tiger's between the shoulder blades, the lynx is able to kind of dodge out of the way as this beak plunges into with a big bite for 9 points of piercing damage. And then the talons slash across for 2d6 +3 slashing damage as they slash at the same time, dealing 12 points of damage to
So I
the
have
saber-tooth.
both of those. So the first one's a 5?
5, yes. And the second one would be a
5
6.
and 6.
Uh-huh. And here is the deal. The bird is going to fly out of threat range. So if you'd like to take your reaction,
Yeah.
you can use it. Because he's going to try to fly 40 feet back as he is... actually, he's going to fly 40 feet towards Uskas, or Okras up here. So you can go ahead and make your attack. And I think that will hit. Yes. As he tries to fly away, you reach up and you basically just rake across the bottom of this thing. And you watch as the wings start to flutter. He starts to go up and down and back and forth, and then slams into the ground right beside Molfin underneath this net over here. As this just burst of snow just kind of busts up from the ground, and the bird is just lying there motionless on the ground. You slash it out of the air. Yeah, nice. The other frost giant, the big guy, he, like I said, he looks a little different. He looks like he's wearing some, it seems to be some dragon hide or something like that he's wearing, some white dragon hide. And he starts to make his way towards you, Callista. This is rough terrain, so it's 30 feet. He's only going to be able to get to about there. So he's making his way through, and he gets out to about here. And he's just going to whip a rock at you, Callista. As there's not really anything else he can do.
Okay.
So he's going to get this rock and just wail it towards you.
That'll hit.
That'll hit, and it'll slam into you for 30 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay. Half.
Half. And it slams into you. And if you want, you can use the token to keep track of your HP.
That's okay. I got it on my 10 pin point.
You got it on
I'm
tip.
good.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right. So the rock, he's coming forward. He can see you, saw what you had. You jumped off of the griffin and transformed, and he slams this rock, and you kind of just pull yourself back a little bit and regain your footing as it stuns you a little bit. And you can he kind of looks at you oddly as he realizes it must not have done what it normally does. The impact wasn't as
The
great.
saber-tooth tiger grins.
Saber-tooth tiger grins. That's awesome. And now we go to Ozkos. And Ozkos was laying over here without an arm. Diana, you notice that all of a sudden, this giant starts to move again. And his arm that is still on, he picks it up and sets it down onto the ground like this. And he starts to stand up. But he's kind of wobbling a little bit. And you can see that his eyes are like bloodshot and they're red around the edges. And you notice that on his arm there's like this bandage that's wrapped around like his arm and his hand. And as the bandage is kind of like falling off just the slightest bit, you can see that there's a small, what looks to be maybe human-sized bite on his hand.
Oh.
As he stands and he's shambling a little bit, and he starts to just go,
Okay.
and that's where we're gonna end tonight's episode.
Wait,
Molfin, Esteban, Julio, Ricardo, Montoya, De Rosa, Greenies? What?
Who had the bite on their arm?
The dead one.
The dead one has now reanimated.
Is he under control?
Orange peel bit him.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Is he under your control?
Molfin, do you have control?
Yeah.
We will find out, won't we?
We will have to find out. I'm not sure what the ruling on that is, but I'll find out.
Oh my god.
If my undead, there's other undead, does that
Now we have to check them off with bite marks.
little
Let's
tiny
see.
human size? Wait, did you say human size? Orange
Yeah.
peel is a little half.
Well, I mean, from your distance, you're standing away.
Yeah.
It would be halfling human
You
size.
put
You're
a
not really,
band-aid on that?
yeah, he's just kind of like just wrapped it
Oh.
up.
That's funny.
Some kind of bandages. And you know, I thought that was a good way to end
Yeah.
end our episode for this evening.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez.
Awesome. Yes, Keplin, it spread. It spread. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I want to thank all of my wonderful players tonight. You guys are simply amazing. Lachlan, it took till that last shot to get that crossbow
Oh,
working, man.
yeah.
I tell you, I don't know
Yeah.
what.
What was up with that, man? What
I
was
was,
up with that?
I was one.
It's because you kept rolling so well on those stealth checks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. What I need from that tray of shame thing. That's what I need.
That's right. This is a shame. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can pick an individual for the Nat 20 for next week, as we get together for episode 32 next Friday night.
I say. Oh, are we saying or is the chat saying?
Chat.
The chat can always
Chat
say.
can always chime in. Yeah, anybody in the chat who wants to chime in. I like to give a free Nat 20 out to one of our players at the end of each episode on who have done a really good job of either role-playing something out really well or doing something in combat that was unexpected or that maybe turned the tables a little bit. So anybody who wants to chime in and chat, just let us know what you guys think.
Can I vote for Zombie Orange Peel for turning the combat on its head?
Absolutely not.
Do we really want him to have it?
You guys do them?
Watch him turn on all of us?
Yes.
Orange Peel is still under my control.
Yeah, but
Hasn't-
what if the zombie that he turned is like not a good thing.
Hey, that's why we
Zombie
have
versus
radio.
zombie.
Oh
Wolfen
god.
doesn't even see that right now. He's half buried under
Uh.
turkey limbs and a net.
I don't see it either.
I see it. Maybe.
It's Miss Diana.
We're all gonna
Little
die.
Diana.
What's worse is he
we
said
are.
it, and I didn't even think zombie. I went, "Oh my god, I hate you, Michael. Why are you giving us vampire giants?"
Oh, you thought
Oh,
vampire?
vampire.
Don't feed him ideas.
Yeah, when we started talking about when you guys were making those jokes last week about zombie orange peel like biting and turning the giants into zombies, I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good idea.
PM after midnight.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Just wow. Wow, Michael. Wow.
Awesome. And I was like, oh,
In
this.
all seriousness, I think I would gotta toss my vote in for Ashlyn and the what did Diana call it? The inactive
Shin kick
socialism.
wealthy?
Yeah, shin kick and trip the wealthy.
yeah.
It's like active socialism. I think you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actionary socialism.
That's it. There
That's
you
the
go.
one. That's the one.
I was gonna give it to Diana for getting on her soapbox again.
Oh!
She makes her
Yeah.
gets on her soapbox so frequently.
Yeah.
This is outrageous. I'm gonna write a letter.
All the
Yeah.
socialism's going on.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think Diana's had it in a couple weeks, so let's go ahead and we'll give it to Diana tonight for the soapbox and for getting Sarvin to open up a little bit about who he really is.
Yeah.
Because
Aw.
Yeah.
I'm
uh,
so excited about that. So many more plot avenues.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So many more soul-stealing miniatures to collect.
Oh god, that miniature's gonna kill her.
So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that nat 20. I'm gonna drag it over here so I don't forget. We'll put that in the top
my
corner of
God.
Diana. There you go. You now have a nat 20 in your corner. It's being weird though. OBS won't let me put it in the spot I want to put it, so I'm gonna have to fix it later. There you go. That's close enough. But so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tune in on Monday nights, the Proficiency Bonus, to check out Tomb of Annihilation, which Matthew is the Dungeon Master. MG is the technical producer for that program. Thank you, MG, for doing that for us. And Sarah is one of our wonderful players. She plays Solana in that wonderful campaign.
Not the Griffin.
Not the Griffin. I just decided to take names from the other campaign to put in this one because I like to do that sometimes. Oh, Digitio, you chimed in. Oh yeah, you just missed it, Digitio. But
Oh wow, yeah.
but I promise I will have this episode up on YouTube very soon, so you guys can catch up on all the shenanigans of our wonderful party, especially the conflicts they got into tonight and how they are deciding to resolve the situations. So it's pretty amazing. Don't forget, May 4th, our very own Christy Mysticwater will be our Dungeon Master on Friday, May the 4th. She'll be leading us through a one-shot. It's going to be pretty exciting. We're going to be doing a giveaway that night. We're going to be giving away the Nightshade Creations, a Dish of Shame, and a set of dice to go with that. So make sure you guys are there for that to get a chance to win that and to check out Christy as she leads us through this adventure. I'm excited to take a step back and get to sit down as a player for a little bit, so that'll be fun.
No pressure. 2 DMs is my player, or 3 DMs if MG
Oh
joins.
man,
Oh right, Sarah, you do DMing too, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh god, all my players are DMs. This is gonna be great.
it'll
Great, no pressure.
we don't play like dungeon masters. Honestly,
No, we really don't. We play like idiots.
honestly, we'll probably just drive you absolutely bonkers with our just constant infighting, probably between
Shenanigans.
So, yeah,
So many shenanigans.
so many shenanigans. Yeah, I'm excited. Anyway, don't forget, tune into our friends Insight Check on Monday afternoons. Christy is also in that campaign. Make sure you go check us all out on Twitter as well. I think a lot of us have their characters on Twitter. You can check out, I know Zos, you can follow her on Twitter as well. So make sure you guys check out. Ashlyn and Sarah both have Twitter accounts. And make sure you jump on there and follow us so you can be just kind of stay tuned with what's going on and how our characters interact with each other while we're not on stream, which is great.
It's really not much different.
Yep,
No, it's really not.
it's not. It's about the same. Anything else that we need to point out before we go tonight, guys?
You've
Twitch
an awesome
Prime.
dungeon master.
If you have
Was
Twitch
that-
Prime, you can subscribe to a Twitch channel of your choice for free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Twitch.
Nice.
If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can have a free subscription basically to any Twitch channel. If you want to use it on us, we would love it. But hey, use it on anything you'd like. I use mine on Geek and Sundry. That's what I do. Because I'm a Critical Role fan. Unfortunately, I'm on the East Coast, and sometimes they get to be late nights for me. So I
Yeah.
like to go back and be able to watch the episodes during the weekend. So that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So awesome, guys! You guys did a great job.
Good game,
And
guys.
Thank you, Michael.
oh
Thank
yeah,
you,
no
Mike.
problem,
Thank
guys.
you.
So for all of you out there, when frost giants die and then begin to stand up again, remember there's probably a zombie orange peel behind it all. And, and don't forget to add your proficiency bonus. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh, somehow I'm going to get blamed for this.
Yeah,
You are.
Yeah.
definitely.